are back. We are back.
It is on.
Let's go.
Live from New York. It's a show that usually drinks like a nice green tea with a little dab of honey in it, and now just shotgunning Red Bull.
He's drinking Red Bull. This guy had a weekend during the week.
What's the first topic? Let's get to it, baby. Let's go.
He's been on tilt since the Ravens season fell apart.
We're all over
He was
the map.
yelling at Greg on Monday, off 2 days, now
This
drinking
is a
Red Bull.
special edition
Yes.
of First Things First. Not only does Brou going to be full of Red Bull, but we're doing all of our franchises. So coming up, Mahomes Mountain and Tiers.
Yes.
Mahomes Mountain's going to come up in about 10 minutes. Meanwhile, are the Eagles facing a must-win tonight? We have another episode of must-win Saquon Revenge Game Part 2. And finally, of course, it's Thursday, so we will get to the most motivational segment in all of sports, the Bud List.
It's nothing but franchises today.
And what else?
Bru's
And
Ballot.
Your
Ballot.
favorite conversation.
Yeah.
That's right. Exactly. That's why you're upset.
Wilds is trying to put Aaron Rodgers in the MVP conversation.
In the conversation.
Everyone can't be in the conversation.
If you're the quarterback of a first-place team, you're in the conversation.
That's
Daniel Jones is in
Mac
the conversation.
Jones.
I'm glad you brought him up.
this guy.
He was going to be on the outside looking in because he didn't start every game. But now that you mention it.
If the Colts lose this weekend, Trevor's in the MVP conversation.
Well, I don't know. He beat Patrick Mahomes. Had one of the plays of the season.
This guy.
He did, but
the
no, he's not in the
conversation is too
conversation.
much.
It's a long conversation.
Yeah. We're starting with the under 500 Chiefs. Lost to Jacksonville Monday night, although Mahomes did throw a 99-yard touchdown. Now preparing to take on the 4-1 Lions, who are on the longest winning streak in the NFL. Nick, did Monday's loss shake your faith in Kansas City? And because we didn't have a show, I already know the answer to this, because guess what? I listened to the What's Right podcast with Nick Wright.
Wow.
Had to get
Trying
my
to get some
daily
tips
input.
on how to pod. Fledgling enterprise. What do they call me, Wilds?
Mr. Consistency.
So I have to be consistent on this. I hated that loss so much. I hated it. And it feels like the sports gods were a little cruel to me personally in that regard, that I was not able to enjoy the greatest moment the Prince has had since the playoff victory against, if I may steal a turn of phrase from Brou, another one of everybody's All-Americans, Matthew Stafford. Or I'm sorry, Justin Herbert, pardon me. Because it came at the expense of my team. All last year, I railed against these stats that were like, the Chiefs are the worst 5-0 team in 10 years. You know what those same exact stats are saying this week? The Chiefs are the best 2-3 team in 10 years. I hate that. I don't want to be the best 2-3 team. I've said forever on this show, I believe winning is a skill. I do not care about your look at the yards per play, look about the explosive. And so the things the Chiefs did well in that game are not things that A, I value immensely when it comes to winning a championship, and B, not concerns I had. If I went into that game worried about the Chiefs' offense, then I would understand why that game would make one feel better. But I take as a given that with a healthy Patrick Mahomes and a functional offensive line and a receiving core with a pulse, the Chiefs are going to be able to score points. So I was not shocked that they moved the ball. But I said on this show 3 weeks ago, what makes the Chiefs different from these other teams is while they might not blow people out the way other teams do, they don't blow leads. They were up 14 points. I said all week, they can't lose that game if they don't turn the ball over. And Patrick, listen, even the greats get got. That was no one's fault. And it was Patrick's mistake. It was a great play by Lloyd, and he got. He didn't see him. That's rare, but it happened. I hate dumb penalties. It was rife with them all over the game.
13.
And special teams matter. And the Chiefs' special teams this year, where it's always been at an advantage, was a deficit. Again, it's a 5th straight game Butker made a mistake, and the same special teams player, Jack Cochran, had back-to-back holding penalties on kick returns, the last of which I think cost him a chance to tie the game. If he doesn't hold there, I think they get in field goal range. So it didn't shake my faith, but it was maddening, and it was incredibly damaging because they had the opportunity, Brou, to erase the 0-2 start divisionally and just be one game behind Buffalo. And they had it. Yep. They had that game, and they gave it away. And I'm not used to the Chiefs giving away games, so that bothered me. I still think they have the ability to be a great team, but you got to win football games. And they didn't win the football game.
Very fair.
That's why they call me the mayor of fair as well.
Very fair.
I said after they trampled on my Ravens, the Chiefs are back. And now after that game, I'm saying, no, they're not. You know, and what I mean by back, I still believe like they're one of the best. I really do. They're one of the best teams in the AFC. But when they beat the Ravens, and you were right, like your first, it sounded foolish at the time, but the Ravens defense is just that bad. And 28 points against Jacksonville is not bad because they have a really good defense. But in that game against the Ravens, it like, oh my. And wait till Rice gets back, like the offense is going to be great. And a lot of that was just how bad the Ravens defense is. Although they have improved with Worthy.
Yeah, I thought the offense was excellent against Jacksonville. I mean, Patrick made a mistake. They're one play from 35 points. You know, against a very good defense.
It wasn't. I mean, the offense wasn't bad, but this loss, what it told me is they're a good team. And I know the record isn't good, but I view them as one of the best teams in the AFC, but not head and shoulders above everybody else in the AFC. And that's really what they've been for almost all of Mahomes' career since Brady left the AFC. That's what they've been pretty much, except for since 2021 when they started the season slowly. Now that year, though, Kelsey was still in his prime. Tyreek Hill was still there. This year, while like I said, obviously I'm still giving them a shot to get to the Super Bowl. But Mahomes that was a huge mistake, the pick six. Kelsey's made the mistakes against Philly when he dropped the pass that led to the interception in the red zone. Harrison Butker's made mistakes and missed field goals.
And Chris had the real
and
bad
Chris
moment
was just loafing. Yeah, so you're seeing some of their top guys. I'm not going to say they're not plugged in, but it's just different. Like, you usually don't see that. So, and on top of that, Nick, there's this. They haven't beaten a team. The 3 teams they've played with winning records have all beaten them.
That's right.
So, look, I think they'll bounce back. I think when they get Rice back, there's going to be another jump. But right now, for at least, they're just another good team in the AFC.
That's fair. The Chris Jones thing made a lot of waves. I couldn't tell, like, is he hurt? Did he misread the play? Is there something else going on?
No, I think I think he misread the I think that
he thought it was over.
He thought it was over. And then by the time it's not, there's to me, it's worse aesthetically than it is impact. Because once he saw...
You don't think he could have made...
No. I do. If he would have just kept going...
He probably...
I think he could have maybe dove on him and hit him in the backfield.
Yeah.
But I'm saying once he realized he wasn't down there, if he would have started sprinting at that moment, it would have looked better. It would have changed nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Once he is like almost parallel with him. So listen, Chris Jones, that game was 8 days removed from him going to a funeral for a family member, flying back moments later and playing in a game. I am not going to question that man's commitment to winning and the team and all of that. It was a bad moment. You know what I mean? And I would almost put it in the same bucket as the play in the Super Bowl where Mahomes is running for his life. Kelsey thinks the play is over, and Kelsey is just walking. I should have had them pull the video. And then Mahomes kind of escapes and then fumbles and has to recover himself, and Kelsey is checked out on the play. It's a bad look, but I don't think it's indicative of who they are.
Yeah.
I do think that the 2021 example, Brou, is a right one, where they started 3-4. And this team
And
now,
I think they were 2-3 at one point?
probably. I don't remember. I know they lost. They got blown out by the Titans to fall to 3-4, and then they had the pass heard around the world, and the season turned around. I can't even do my bit about the tackle that turned the tide.
Oh, the tackle that turned.
Just the numbers. The Mahomes.
That's in jeopardy. We'll see.
Turn the tide for the team or for Mahomes? Because Patrick has, again, he made the mistake, but I thought the passing offense was excellent in that game. So they're going to have to follow more of the model of the 2019 Chiefs. Be an explosive offense and have the defense come through in big spots rather than a dominant defense.
All right, we are doing all of the segments, and of course, when you see the snow start to fall out of the studio, that means we're headed up to a higher altitude. Let's take a look.
Let's go.
Special Thursday edition of The Mountain, and we've taken a more animated turn as Dak and the Cowboys have a bit of a pep in their step. Also, gloves and a hat. Meanwhile, Baker and the Bucks mapping their way to an MVP. At the same time, Bo Nix and the Broncos continue to impress in Denver, where he does have an unfair advantage because he plays at altitude. It's in the Mountain Time Zone. Nevertheless, let's see where all the quarterbacks fall as we climb Mahomes Mountain. Well, there we go. We're back on the mountain, and we've also welcomed Greg from Base Camp. Greg, welcome, of course.
Great to see you, buddy. Despite how mean you are to me on social media all the time.
It was
unnecessary. It was unnecessary is how I felt, Greg.
Is it, what are we talking? You know what? Since you mentioned it, and I was muted in the first topic intentionally.
What do you mean?
America, because of...
I actually requested you come. You're usually not in for the A block. Your fee's too high.
Well,
and so I requested you be here for the mountain, but also...
Well, before we even start the mountain, I just want to remind everyone what we're talking about, because I know I know we know, but maybe not everyone who's tuned in right now knows. So if we can just take a little transport back in time really quick and listen to what we're talking about and what was said.
I love it.
I do.
Jags Chiefs.
I do. Give me the Jaguars.
Very often when you pick against the Chiefs, it's on a Friday. And then you don't have to deal with the fallout of your erroneous prediction. I know we're not on tomorrow because of baseball, but we are on again this week. Are you sure that's the direction you want to go? Yeah, I've never heard you be a big Jags guy.
The question is, are you sure?
Okay, you're kind of, you do.
Wow. Erroneous prediction.
Wow.
Do you still feel that way?
I mean, obviously,
It doesn't matter how you feel. Miles, we're on the mountain. Let's go.
All right, fair enough. Great to see you, Greg. All right,
Congrats.
on the mountain. Also, let's just show who's off the mountain so I'll explain some things. Once you've missed a couple weeks, you're off the mountain, but it will be designated for injury. So Lamar and Purdy are off. It is not based on play. Purdy maybe. But it's based on injury. They just shouldn't have a spot once it's more than a 1 week absence. Jake Browning off the mountain. He also is off his starting job.
Tough one.
Joe Flacco off the mountain, even though he's starting for a new team. Cooper Rush off the mountain. Carson Wentz almost got on. I know Wentz and Bryce got wins this weekend. Wentz played better, not enough to get on the mountain. Wow. Bryce did not play that well. He's still off the mountain. Now, by the way, I'm very curious to see if we were able to upgrade our software so we don't have to be as color coordinated, reds on the left, greens on the right, to, where people imply that the mountain was left to right when we all know it's not. Bottom row, hanging on for dear life, Geno Smith.
Man.
It's sad. And it really, it's upsetting to me. More on Geno and the Raiders in tears. Justin Fields staying where he is. Shout out Dylan Gabriel.
Got there.
Got on the mountain. Kyler.
Yeah.
I guess. Can one of our intrepid NFL reporters please get to the bottom of, did they check him for a concussion because the football hit him in the head? I want to know. Everyone wants to know. Greg's trying not to laugh. We need this information. Cam Ward, you got a victory, I guess. Michael Penix had the week off. Jackson Dart's fine. That's the bottom of the mountain. You okay, KW?
Yeah, Jackson Dart also hanging on.
Hanging on. A lot of these guys are hanging on. Your guy Cam Ward. You know how we were talking about before the draft? He's the least discussed number 1 pick of all time. That's working out in your favor so far, buddy. I'm telling you right now, it's very nice for him that we don't talk Titans.
We're leading every day.
We still talk more about
Shador, hey, Caleb, can you imagine Caleb having this start? Row 5, speaking of. Caleb and Aaron, they were off last week. They dropped because there were some good enough performances by row 6 guys that we had to make room for some guys, and we had to drop 2 guys who didn't play. Wow. They have an opportunity, obviously, to move back up. It's not really their fault. They were off. Other people did well. Bo Nix, really weird game. As bad as he's played in a year for the first 3 quarters and the best football of his pro career in the 4th quarter, he stays where he is. KW.
Look at it.
Who would have ever thought?
We never thought that we'd see the day.
Never thought we'd see the day.
I didn't think he'd ever be back on the mountain.
I know.
Correct.
And that was on second round. And climbing.
Climbing, and
Playing well, though.
he has played well enough that I will call him by his nickname rather than his given name. He's always been McCorkle on the mountain, if
That's
you remember.
okay.
He's now Mac.
I thought you were going to say the
Tua's there, and Spencer Rattler has played well. The team has not played very well. I know they got their the win, but his numbers are fine. Like, he actually is not their problem, so shout out to him. Row 5, Jordan Love stays where he is. Again, more on him in a moment, I'm sure. Justin Herbert has to fall. I understand the protection has been really shaky, but his play, particularly the last 2 weeks, but really most of the last 3 weeks, has been really shaky as well. Jayden Daniels, back healthy, playing well. He moved up and will probably move up further. CJ Stroud, here's the thing. CJ got a little bit of benefit of the doubt. He probably should have been further down the mountain before the Week 5 explosion given his play this year, so the Week 5 performance didn't propel him up higher. And shout out to the Prince. Listen, it was a very princely game if you've watched his whole career. There's a few goofballs. Listen, the guy's a rapscallion. He's a bit of a goof at times. Some would say dopey surfer boy. I wouldn't, some would. Regardless, you also saw some of the best of him. Yep. And some of those throws he made are what, and
that comeback,
the comeback, the throw to Brian Thomas, and a little of Clemson Trevor using his legs.
Yeah.
Coming out of school, he was a huge rushing threat. He hasn't been as much in the pros. He was on Monday night in the biggest regular season game he's played since his 2nd year. Top 10. Shout out KW.
We're here.
Shout out.
We are here.
Shout out KW, Greg, KW. This is their row.
We're out here.
I mean, Drake May deserves it. Just flatly deserves it. It's no grading on a curve. It's no anything. He's been very impressive. Sam Darnold, who you notice, Brou, KW doesn't get mad these days when we say he's a Darnold guy. Beginning of the year, after that loss to the Niners, he was like, I'm not a Darnold guy. I just like 14 wins, 4,000 yards. Just take it.
I'm not.
Glow.
Just take it.
Take your victory lap.
I can't take that many victory laps.
Greg was not here and got very mad. Again, Greg, for a guy that has like real life muscles, he has even more Twitter muscles. He's real aggressive on social media, particularly towards your old buddy Nick Wright. He gets a lot of tweets about me that he could just ignore, and then he's like, great point, XOX32, let me expand on it. And so last week, Daniel Jones got dropped on the mountain. Greg got tweeted about it. He was like, I knew they would betray me while I'm gone. Well, you're back. He played well. Jalen Hurts, hardest player in the league to grade.
We'll see how it goes tonight.
We'll see, yeah. Jalen Hurts stays where he is. All right, top 6. Dak still playing great. Matt Stafford, I got to tell you, I didn't feel awesome about dropping Matt Stafford because I think he's played fantastic. But they were a huge favorite. They did lose. I think he's been great this year. Drop him just a tiny bit. Jared Goff continues to quietly just orchestrate one of the highest scoring offenses in the history of pro football. The Mountain has always had a reputation for fairness, contrary to what other people might say. And it will be further illustrated by this because we will have for the 4th consecutive week a different person atop the mountain.
This is
because Patrick has to drop.
Oh.
Patrick threw listen, I understand the yardage numbers were good and all of that. Patrick threw a pick 6 that ended up flipping the game. You dropped because of that, even if the rest of the game you played really well. You were a favorite, you lost, fair is fair. Josh stays where he is. And for the first time ever, And I believe only the 6th different person, I'll have to check the full archives, to ever be atop the mountain.
Wow.
Baker Mayfield.
Wow.
Shout out to Baker, and also shout out to Baker for one of my favorite quotes of the week, which was, paraphrasing, yeah, that thing that I did yelling at the fans, I've been doing that my whole career. When I was in Cleveland, y'all hated it. Now y'all love it. It's just because I'm playing better. That is the latest edition
Now it shows
of Mahomes
guts.
Mountain. You're trying to figure out who's been on top?
Baker, Jaylen, Josh, Lamar, Patrick.
And I believe there was a mountain that Joe Burrow was
In your whole
Oh.
time of all the
Burrow.
years of
Yeah, I
doing
mean, we've
it?
only been doing it for 3.5 years.
Still, wow. Baker's in the half dozen.
Yeah, I mean,
he's number
and
6.
for some reason, I feel like golf might have been atop it once.
He didn't
Golf?
get that.
I don't think you've ever put golf atop the mountain.
Okay, again,
Greg.
we're going to
I
have to
can't
check the
imagine
archives.
golf
Greg,
top the mountain.
go ahead.
Josh got into the data.
So the mountain is very interesting. I could mess around with a couple names, but the one that I want to focus on is Dak. I feel like if I were able to move a guy up, I would move Dak up. And again, this is not knocking anybody above Dak, but he has an argument that can be made that there's been no other player. If you're in Tampa, you are definitely going to have this argument as well with Baker. But for Dak, there's no other player in the National Football League that has entered into this year with more expectation to do more and to be more for his club. And he has delivered. Not in terms of wins like some of these other guys like Baker, but in terms of productivity, absolutely. He's had the most completions, the most attempts because they're asking him to do more. Their running game is benefiting because of what he's able to do in the passing game. He's about to get George Pickens paid.
That is true.
I mean, he's elevating the guys around him, and I can't speak more to it, but I could, but I'm not. Even when you look at the defense is poor. They're giving up the most yards. They're giving up arguably like top 4 or bottom 4, I should say, in points. Yet alone, this guy, because of what he's able to do offensively and with the weapons that he's been provided, no CeeDee Lamb, may I add, kept this team averaging over 30 points a game, the most yards in football as far as total offense. It's been impressive to see what he has been able to do. I know the record doesn't suggest that he should be because of it's a
tapestry. And what you're saying is fair because he has 2 wins as far as the record goes. Patrick has 2 wins.
His record's better.
2-2-1 versus 2-3. Again, it's not left to right. However, if I were ranking the guys on that 3rd row, I would coincidentally have Dak first. And what Dak, Josh, Patrick, and Baker all have in common this year is, in my opinion, their offense asks them to basically do everything. I understand Josh has James Cook, but everything runs through him. For Baker, he has Emeka Egbuka, who's been unbelievable, but he's been orchestrating the comebacks. Patrick still leads the Chiefs in rushing, which is, again, not a good stat. And Dak, again, has good weapons. Great when CeeDee's there, good when he's not. But the defense is so bad, he has to do everything. So I understand the point. I think the 3 guys above him deserve to be above him, but I have no issue with what you said about Dak.
I want to talk about Jay. Why so low? Jay, why so low? J-Lo.
We did.
the Red Bull.
Y'all are not feeling J-Lo on this show. I'm the only one. I mean, I'm the only one, and I'm not saying he should be in the 2nd row. Move him up a row. I don't think anybody in that row above him, May, Darnold, Jones, Hurts, is playing better than him.
What?
Only Jones has a higher passer rating. He's got Darnold, has a higher passer rating. And he's got Jackson Smith-Njigba, who's playing might be the best receiver in the league. And only Daniel Jones has a higher yards per attempt than J-Lo. But J-Lo has 2 more touchdowns than Jones does while playing 1 fewer game. All right, not to mention, let's see, Sam Darnold, I mentioned Jackson Smith-Njigba. Daniel Jones has Jonathan Taylor doing his thing. Drake May has a rejuvenated Stephon Diggs. Now, some of that's May, but still, Diggs is an elite talent. We know that. J-Lo does not have a wide receiver in the top 65 as far as yards, total yards.
But is that partially because they're spreading it out?
And they have
because
so many.
They just have a bunch of
If
options?
you got one great one or even close to great, you feed them. You know that. I get it. They do have about 4 good receivers. But if he had one great one or even close to that, he would be getting him the ball more. He doesn't have a wide receiver in the top 90 as far as receptions.
Brou, you're not arguing that Drake May has better weapons than J-Lo, are you?
Well, Stephon Diggs is having a very good season, and J-Lo's top rusher, Josh Jacobs, who I do like, he's only averaging 3 yards a carry. He's only averaging 3 yards a carry. So I'm just saying, 8 touchdowns, 1 pick. He's top 5 in passer rating. I think J-Lo should be up.
Listen, it's hard to move up off a bye, and so that's the other thing that hurts him. So but I know you thought he should have been moved up last week. I think this group, I don't think it's that we're not in love with J-Lo like you. I think it's more, we are more bothered by, they played weeks 1, 2, 3, and 4. Week 3, he threw a pick to lose the game, and week 4, they almost blew that game as well at his hands. So I just think that
he also had a great game.
He had a great game. No. That game he had a great game, and then
Yep.
at the end there was that. I understand what you're saying. If I were to flip him with anybody, again, it's not left to right, but oddly I'd probably flip him with Jalen Hurts, but I didn't want to argue with Wild.
Jared Goff. Greg, this is a little bit for you. Also echoes one of my friends who is from Detroit who just randomly sends me Jared Goff data. Wasn't asking for it. It's like, here's a 3-page text on Jared Goff. I said, you know what? I'll have a little bit of Jared Goff love. I would flip Goff and Mahomes. They're playing each other. That game is Sunday night.
Yeah.
Mahomes has never beaten Goff, once with the Lions and that opening game. The other game was with the Rams, so we didn't really do a huge thing about it. So this is Goff this year, and I know that Danny likes to do a lot of Herbert, Peyton Manning stuff. Here's Goff and Peyton Manning, 12 passing touchdowns and a 75% completion percentage in the first 5 games. Peyton won MVP, made the Super Bowl. Goff MVP talks? I know I'm like Mr. MVP talks guy, but Goff is in the mix.
Yes.
Then it's this season, Goff versus Mahomes. Goff has got him in everything except passing, yards.
What about since the tackle that turned the tide?
I didn't do the tackle that turned the tide because I didn't know if it was totally fair because he doesn't have a tackle that turned the tide, but if there was, I would prorate the post-tackle that turned the tide and pre-tackle that turned the tide. And then last 3 seasons, just so it's, again, this is pre-tackle that turned the tide. But Jared Goff has just been so good, and we just kind of, wins, points, yards. Also, just as an added little bonus, we were very worried that the Ben Johnson effect would take everybody down a notch, and it hasn't seemed. Maybe that first game against the Packers, but since then,
he's been
Jared
awesome.
Goff has been cooked.
He's been awesome. Unfortunately, you're not giving enough credit to
tackle to turn
the tide. I mean, I do have the numbers. Oddly, just
you pulled up tackle to turn the tide.
There it is. I mean, again, since the tackle that turned the tide, he's been. Listen,
they still lower than Goff.
I'm not giving him a pass for the pick 6. The pick 6 hurts him.
6-1 and 12-2 line up.
Yeah, but that's oddly not including his rushing touchdowns, which I saw Josh made you put at the very bottom of your fancy graphic, where Patrick had more passing yards and then an additional 38 rushing yards and 3 rushing touchdowns. That's fine. I'm not here. It's tackle to turn the tide. So I'm just saying, luckily they get to play each other this Sunday night, and we'll see. See that little fancy thing? See how Mahomes has more passing yards and then an additional 38 rushing yards, and Jared Goff doesn't run because his little hands drop the ball when he's running?
Okay.
I'm just telling you.
Well, actually, 12 if you count the
pick to the other team. Exactly right.
Yeah.
So they're tied. Well done. Good job.
Okay, that's a 30-minute A block. Let's see how the rest of the show goes. Stuff is getting floated next. Bruce Ravens facing a must-winner. Is Brou going to just be in a bad spot? That's next. If you get a chance, check out our podcast. Some people are calling it the Alperin Shingun of podcasts. I heard it's good, but then when you give it a shot, you're like, whoa, this is way better than I realized.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
The Shinguna
The
podcast.
Shinguna
I would take that.
Have you listened to the podcast?
Yeah, roughly the 18th best in the world.
That
would be excellent.
Could he be top 10 this year?
Oh, I think that's going to be hard.
Just
but
throwing it out there.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he
maybe.
will. I
You see
mean,
what
well,
Bill's
he
trying
was,
to do?
what was he last year?
He's
Was he
trying to-
second team, third team?
I think third team, but I think he's trying to elbow, his way onto Shinguna.
Okay, we welcome everybody. It's time now for a segment that grows more literal by the day, and it is scored must win. First up, the Eagles and their bipolar offense taking on the Giants tonight. Looking to bounce back from their first loss of the year. Saquon going up against his old team, which he feasted on, remember, in his last homecoming to the tune of 176 yards. Sirianni's like, want to break the record? He's like, nah, I'm fine. I got plenty of yards. Well, not this year. Down from 125 to 53. Who won last week? Do we remember?
Coach.
Coach won. So, Greg, that is your seat. You can choose to pass or play.
I will play.
Okay, here we go.
This is definitely a must-win. Look, this is a team that was setting the pace for not only the league but definitely the NFC in terms of the 1 seed. And now you tripped up obviously against the Broncos, and the style of which you have been playing is being in question. You have an opponent where you just got to win the games you're supposed to win. This is a game that you're supposed to win. I don't care how it looks, but you can't put yourself in a situation where you're fighting at the end of the season to get home playoff games, because road Eagles in the playoffs is different than home Eagles in the playoffs. The 2 road games that just Jalen Hurts has had, he's lost. Both against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. When they play at home, it's a different team, and you're supposed to win this game. Go out there and get it.
Yeah, so I don't think a win in and of itself does much for Philly.
Interesting.
We've seen them be plenty, upset or dysfunctional might be too strong, but post a win, I know post this loss, they had a 2-hour meeting, Jaylen, AJ, and Saquon, and this is really a Kevin Wilde's take that I've co-opted. That meeting's too long. Marriage counseling's 55 minutes, guys. Anything that wasn't accomplished in the first 45 minutes of that meeting's not going to be accomplished in minute 102. But that's neither here nor there. The answer is this, KW, and you alluded to it. It's a must-have Saquon go-off game. If Saquon Barkley, against the league's 6th worst rushing defense, in a game where he should be fresh since he got 1 second-half carry last week, cannot go off, then we just need to accept, okay, this is going to be a down year for Saquon. They are not going, and in his career, his super high usage years have been followed by at least slight, if not significant dips, and last year was his highest usage year by a mile. So it's a must-win with Saquon having a monster game. We are still going to think about him as anything close to last year's Saquon.
Definitely a must-win after that players-only meeting, whatever it was. You don't want to lose that momentum coming out of a meeting like that. You come out of that where everybody's talked about it like, oh, wow, okay, this is going to solve something, and lose to the hapless Giants, not good. Secondly, Nick was right about Saquon. The problem is he didn't name it. It's the must S-squared game. Must salvage Saquon game. All right, you got your former team you're playing against, right?
That's right.
And they're one of the worst rushing defenses in the league.
Just saying everything
All
I
right?
said.
Well, you didn't say that. They give up 140 yards a game. Okay,
40 yards a
and they allow 5.5 yards a carry.
What?
You go in there getting 3 yards a pop, something's wrong. Saquon hadn't had a 100-yard game all season, only 73 yards rushing in the last 2 games combined.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Throw in the towel. Guys, yikes. Wave it off. Obviously 1-0. I'm sorry. Sunday at 1 on Fox. Rams at Ravens. Favored by more than a touchdown. Now, Brou, you retired a show mainstay, and it might not come back against this powerful Rams offense. Let's look at the Rams offense. It's excellent, powered by everybody's All-American Matthew Stafford. Ravens defense continues to be terrible. Here, of course, is what you retired.
Oh, wow.
All of your Ravens stuff. Well, we're just waiting for the day that we can bring it back out.
This would be a win worthy of bringing it back, but Lamar's not there. So
okay.
I mean, that'd be make it great.
You can just break the
rules.
Go ahead. Okay. Nick, it's your turn. You're down 1-0.
It is not a must-win because if they lose, everyone's just going to say, all right, after the bye, Lamar's back, and you have Bears, Dolphins, Vikings, Browns, Jets, Bengals. Rip off 5 out of 6 or something, and you're right back in it. However, a win would flip the season for them.
Ooh.
Because if they steal this win and then have that exact schedule coming up and Lamar coming back, they can sit there and say, guys, we're 2-4. Like, we're 2-4. We as bad as that would have sounded going into the season, it wouldn't have sounded that bad at all 3 days ago, knowing this is what was coming up in front of us. And the Chiefs, who nobody's given up on, are going to go into Week 7 either 2-4 or 3-3, and people are going to think they're fine. So I don't think they have to win. If they do win, I think they undergo a bit of a transformation psychologically of, guys, it's going to be fine. Lamar's going to come back. The defense isn't going to stay the worst in the league.
Psychological transformation.
No, and if they won, their defense would have to play well. Right?
Yes.
I mean, Cooper Rush not putting up 40 points, I don't think. So that's true. Not a must win. Nobody expects them to win without Lamar. And like Nick said, the schedule, 1 out of 6, he named the teams, but only one of those 6 teams has a winning record. So they lose. I said it. That Chicago game a couple weeks ago, that Chicago game, that's really their season. That could be their season. So that's a huge game out of the bye, assuming Lamar will be back. Here's the other thing. It's also not a must-win for the Ravens, but it is a must-win for the Rams.
Oh, a little Rams.
Rams have lost 2 of their last 3. People think they're a Super Bowl contender, but they lost to San Francisco as banged up as they are with, no offense, but Mac Jones at quarterback. And so look, Stafford has been putting up 400 yards a game almost over the last 2. He's got to cook against this team. If they don't and they lose, your morale is really dropping in a tough division that is going to be hard to survive. So, yeah, must win for the Rams.
It's a must win for the Ravens. Look, I don't care who's playing. Number one, are you going to compete? As a player, are you going to compete? Who are you? Because we don't recognize who you are right now. As Raven Flock Nation, whatever you used to be, we need to see it. So with or without Lamar, you need to win. You need to show up and play like a Raven. Whatever that means to you in that building, do it. Must win. Give me that point, Wild.
That's all theatrics.
Well, you guys are like, they're going to be like 1-14. They can make it run. Like, they're losing a lot of games. It's got to be a must win.
I didn't know theatrics got points.
That's the only
100%.
thing you do.
Exactly.
Well, it's time now for the bonus round.
All right.
This is worth 3 points, so it's still anybody's ball. No, it's actually worth 2 points, so it's anybody's ball game. I'm sorry. I thought it was worth 3 points. Bengals and Green Bay. Flacco making his Cincy debut as a 14-point underdog. Now, the weird part is he's already beaten the Packers, but it was the worst win by any quarterback this season, but it still counts in the win column. Here he was against the Packers defense. Well, hey, that was enough for Cincinnati to sign him. So is this a must-win for the Packers? Again, this is the bonus round. But, Brou, you're leading off.
Absolutely. All right, it's definitely a must-win. They haven't won in their last 2 games. I know they tied one, but still, they haven't won. They've lost that momentum from the great start with the 2 big wins over Detroit and Washington. And it is a get-back game at Joe Flacco, a payback game because he beat them with Cleveland. On top of it being a must-win for Green Bay, it is a must-turn-back-the-clock game for Joe Flacco.
To just a few weeks ago.
No, to a couple years ago. He has turned back the clock before. 2 years ago in Cleveland, he was left for dead. He was old. Everybody had written him off. He goes out there, has a great run, and leads them to the playoffs. He must turn back the clock and play well to keep Jamar Chase and T. Higgins engaged, and really the rest of the team. If they go out there and lose their 4th straight game and Flacco plays poorly, he's supposed to be the cavalry. And he doesn't have it, then those guys might zone out for the rest of the season.
Wilds, mark this point down. It's a must-win. You're coming off a bye. Clearly, we know that you got extra time to prepare for a team that everybody in your division who has played them thus far, aka Detroit, Minnesota, has smacked them. And just for giggles, real talk, guys, I'm gonna be there. Wow. I'm gonna be in the building. Get it done. Look, we want antics. I'll give you antics. You better not lose this game. And when I come to practice on Saturday, I better see effort like I'm going to see that translates to winning a game against the Bengals. We don't care about no stinking Bengals. Who they? Nobody cares. Win the game.
What type of practice do they do the day before the game?
Walk through at the hotel.
Okay, yeah.
No, I don't even know that Nick should go.
They're not on the road.
How they're just going to be walking? You're like,
I want to see it in your eyes. I want to see the attention to detail. They don't know what that is. I know what it looks like. Coach, hold on, run that again.
oh yeah.
Walk through. Repeat it. I didn't like the way I saw it.
You were in a tough spot.
I'm very tough spot. I'm not even going to try to get the point. I'm just going to try to give two quick pieces of analysis.
Is nice.
One is, what is a must-have is the Packer defense look like it looked the first 3 weeks and not the game we saw them tie against the Cowboys. Their path to the Super Bowl is having a top 3 defense in football. We thought they were going to have that. And the last one, this is an oldie but a goodie that I can't help myself but to bring up whenever something like this happens. Once upon a time, a lot of our friends and family in the media swore you could never sign a quarterback off the street and ask him to play within 1 or 2 or 3 weeks. It was impossible. They needed a month. Colin Kaepernick's not getting blackballed. It's just that it takes him a month to pick up a game plan. Since then, Baker flew southwest to LA, won a game 6 hours later. Joe Flacco was a Brown this week and is playing for the Bengals in 2 days. And everyone's like, let's see how it works. That was always a farce. Give Greg the point.
That wasn't bad, though.
That wasn't bad.
Thank you.
Greg still.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes. I'm just saying, Nick did a good job.
Coming up next, special edition of Brou's Ballot. Is Jared Goff going to be atop the ballot? That's next.
It's going to be a surprising ballot to you guys.
Right
Greg
now,
won't be out
however,
here for
we're back to the gridiron with Brou's Ballot. Brou, this is usually when do we do this? Tuesdays.
Tuesdays.
This is usually a Tuesday staple.
Yeah. This one was tough.
I bet.
Because we're still early in the season, so there's a lot going on.
Why is Jordan Love? Sorry.
Because he has 2 of the best victories in the league this season. Detroit, which is one of the top teams in the league. Well, I want to see where they are on the tiers, but they might be at the top. Detroit's playing great. Washington, we just saw them come back with Jayden and get a good win.
2 of the best wins and the single worst loss.
And Mahomes throws a pick six, 99 yards, and we brush over.
We didn't brush over. We led the show with it.
Yeah, but he was great otherwise. I mean, it was a mistake. I mean, you know.
They misread it. They had scored 3 points.
I mean, they're 2-1-1. The dude is cooking. He's number 5.
2-1-1. 2-1-1. He didn't play last week.
Everybody on my ballot, unlike some people in here, got a winning record. How about that? That's a little hint to y'all. Number 4, Josh Allen. Hadn't been phenomenal the last 2 weeks. I think he was number 1 on there last week. Yeah, last week, number 1. 3 turnovers in his last 2 games. But with all due respect to James Cook, who is a very good running back, if so much is on his shoulders. He's carrying that team. I don't think he has a great receiver, so I still have him on the ballot, but he's number 4. Number 3, I had this guy at number 2, but he and number 2, I had to really look closely. Goff is having a fantastic year. Number 1 offense in the league. He's second to Lamar in pass rating with 120. Leads the league with 12 touchdown passes. And like you guys said earlier, no Ben Johnson, no problem. At number 2, everybody's All-American. I got to give him love. He's throwing for 300 yards a game. The last 2 games, he got 764 yards combined. He's, cooking with, I think, 11 touchdowns, which is second to Goff. I know they've had some bad losses, but he is
Why is he
cooking
ahead of Goff?
He thinks
because
he's playing better.
he's throwing for 300 yards a game.
Yeah, he thinks he's playing better. I mean, the records
Yeah,
are
I
not
mean,
that different. It's 4-1, 3-2.
It's
It's
tough.
hugely different.
Okay.
Twice as many losses.
At number 1, Baker Mayfield. I mean, I got to give love to Baker.
Craig's
4
gonna be mad.
game-winning game-winning drives in the
rough
last
segment for Greg.
minute this season.
You too.
This has got Tigers.
Hold on, Dak's supposed to be on there?
No.
Well, no, that's not what Greg's going to be mad about.
Oh, what? Goff should be number 1, you think?
Come on, man. Do we really need to do that?
Daniel Jones?
Daniel Jones should have a spot above Jordan Love.
With 6 passing touchdowns in 5 games?
Daniel Jones has been better than Jordan Love this year.
Has he?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah,
Because
really.
Jordan Love doesn't have Jonathan Taylor spinning and
Let you
shooting
tell it,
and
and
shaking and running for leading the league in yards. He got Josh Jacobs, who I like. I love Josh Jacobs, actually.
Do you?
But he's only averaging 3.3 yards a carry this year.
For who?
All right? I told y'all, he don't have a top 100 receivers.
It's his fault.
In reception. It's his fault.
It's coming up.
Oh, yes.
It's coming on special edition of the
That
Ballot.
first was erased. I don't
He
know
is
what that
definitely the number 1
That
under
first
duress.
Cowboy Brew, get that. I'm not feeling
That's
that.
why
picture.
he's under duress.
I don't know. Live from New York, it's a show that has 9 different franchises coming up in the next 60 minutes. If you've ever seen the show and said, you know what, I like that little segment, it's in today's show.
Yeah, because we're off Tuesday and Wednesday. We got to get it all in.
Jam-packed. Also coming up, Tigers, Mariners, deep analysis. Might end up a podcast exclusive. We got to talk to Gianna if there's room for that on
Absolutely.
the podcast.
I know you love it.
Second hour of First
Hail
Things
Central,
First.
baby.
Today, the committee met deep into the night. It's a special edition of Tiers. That's coming up in about 20 minutes. Meanwhile, are the Eagles on Upset Alert? It's the one segment we are not doing Upset Alert.
Yeah, correct, because we are on the air tomorrow.
But I got confused from Dusty. But right now, of course, it's time for the most motivational segment in all of sports. It's also a time where we read some viewer mail. Sometimes I get physical mail from the post office. You know, Christina goes down to the post office.
Yeah,
You paying
of course.
attention? What, you're looking at your notes or you're paying attention to the letter?
No, I was honestly debating whether or not I was going to point out for the 5th time in the last 6 weeks that Christina has been promoted. She runs the OT show,
Yeah.
and you should stop making her spend her valuable time
She
walking to
goes
the post
down-
office.
she goes down
She's
her-
just gracious and
Also,
doesn't.
don't
we
know
have
if she walks.
interns.
I think she takes Dusty's scooter.
No, she's far too smart for that.
Great work ethic, Christine.
Comments this time
Oh,
from last week's Bud List on YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel.
wow.
1. Brou and the First Things First crew better get the Brou cinematic universe onto the same level as the MCU. Remember we mentioned do you know what the Marvel Cinematic Universe is? You know what that is?
Now I do.
It's like all the Marvel,
All the guys
Iron
are-
Man,
Yes,
and
yes,
Captain
yes.
America. They all
Hang
live
out
in
with
the
Dusty.
same-
Dusty's talking about it all the time.
did
The
see
First
the
Things
Brou
First cinematic Bruniverse. This is something we as fans want to see expanded.
Bruniverse.
Bruniverse is good. And Professor Brou, Cowboy Brou, Sandwich, and Injured are all characters in the Brou CU. So there was overwhelming response and this took off. So here are all the different brews: Injured Brou, Bruto, Muscular Brou, Robed Brou, Cowboy Brou, Ballot Brou.
Wow.
That's just your normal self. We tried to introduce a new one.
Was that James Bond?
Yes.
Brew?
I love
And
that.
it was-
I love that one.
Captain Easy
Captain
Stance.
Easy
as part
Stance
of
is the hero
Yeah.
in the Brou cinematic universe.
There you go. It keeps expanding.
Wow.
Wow.
A
Well done.
true thespian with quite a range.
Yes, thank you. You guys finally recognized
It took a while, but you were
the
100%
great
right
acting
about that.
ability. Thank you.
job, bro.
Thank you. And Greg can act too. He's
Well
not
done.
bad.
Oh yeah,
There's
Greg
a
with the
good
goatee. Was that goatee real, or was that a?
That was real.
Oh, okay. You should bring that back.
He
got it right now.
No, but it was lost.
Go ahead.
All right, here we go. Number 3, Aaron Rodgers.
Wow, MVP talks.
No.
Well, I will say that he's not in the MVP conversation, but he's quietly having a very good year. As
Yeah.
Wiles pointed out earlier, he's got 8 touchdown passes, ties him with several guys for like top 5 in the league. I mean, there's a bunch of guys with 8, bunch of guys with 9, but he's doing well. He is top 10 in passer rating, 102, which is like his best since his last MVP season
Right.
in
His second
Green
to
Bay.
last year in Green Bay.
Yeah, so he's playing well, but the thing is this: nobody believes in the Steelers. you guys probably know this. They're 3-1. The Ravens are 1-4. Yet the Ravens are still favored to win the AFC North. And you got Cleveland coming to town Cleveland. Cleveland is playing Pittsburgh. And you figure you should win that game. You're 4-1. Ravens will be 1-5 if they lose, which everybody expects them to the Rams without Lamar. That is a sizable lead. Even if the Ravens get it rolling, you still, with Mike Tomlin coaching, the defense starting to play well, have held their last two opponents to about 17 points a game. They got an opportunity to win the division and obviously make the playoffs. And then even if they lose in the playoffs, whether it's first, second round, Rodgers, if he retires, can really go out of here in somewhat of a little blaze of glory. So it's all there on the table for you, Aaron, but you got to do it this week. I actually think this is going to be a tough game.
Wow.
This might be my upset alert.
Wow.
Because Cleveland, they play some teams tough. They obviously beat
Andrew
Green
from
Bay.
there.
And yes, that's right. So, Aaron, I'll be watching closely.
Okay.
All right. At number 2, Patrick Mahomes. All right.
Fair.
Now, Mahomes is playing well, and I would say, Nick, a lot of it is the eye test. He looks really good with the eye test. The stats aren't eye, I know he threw for over 300
What
last
about
game.
since the tackle that turned the tide?
Well, here we go, though. His passer rating total is still 93.
Yeah.
That's 19th in the league. All right, obviously that's not great. He had the great game against Baltimore, which we seem to say every week for that quarterback. But he had 4 touchdowns in that game. But this is all passing. Every other game, though, the other 4, he's only had 1 touchdown pass in each game. So playing well, it looks better than it actually reads statistically. He's obviously running the football well. But the team, of course, is 2-3. And this is a game, though, that unlike the Baltimore win, if you beat Detroit, this will age well. Yeah. Like Baltimore obviously isn't aging that well at this point, but you beat Detroit, that's going to age well. You beat a very good team, still without your best receiver, one of them in Rashee Rice. And now I think momentum that you lost in this weekend against Jacksonville last weekend, you get back if you beat Detroit. Also, there's the Jared Goff thing. You said it earlier. Jared Goff's the only current starter in the league that Mahomes has faced that he hasn't beaten. And Goff has actually outplayed Mahomes statistically in these games, which is very rare for somebody to do that. So this is kind of a good chance for Patrick to get the team rolling again, but also to get a little get back on Jared Goff. Boat, I believe in you. All right, at number 1, Gino, I am not sleeping on you. I'm comatose. All right? I am dead to the world when it comes to the Raiders. I'm knocked out, Wild. You can't wake me up.
Bro, still doing the segment.
I'm sorry. We started talking about the Raiders, and I fell asleep. Gino! No! Now, I know people think I don't like Gino.
No, you like him. Yeah.
I do.
Yeah,
I do like Gino.
You like him. Yeah, everybody knows that.
I'm just about tough love.
Oh,
That's true.
All right, Nick and Wild, y'all just praise Gino for, playing fairly well, being, he's become a franchise quarterback, and y'all praise him.
Yeah.
I believe Gino can do more.
Well,
So I challenge him to be better. And Gino, you got to be better. 9 interceptions already. 9. I mean, only
he's on pace for 30, bro.
only Jake Browning and Joe Flacco and the Prince. You sense a little theme here? The Prince, Gino.
What about him?
They're the only ones within the realm of Gino as far as interceptions. Oh, they're the only ones even close. All right, Jake Browning's got 8. So, Gino, this is the weekend to turn it around. You got Tennessee Tennessee, all right, probably the worst team in the league, all right? If you don't cook against them, and they're coming off a victory, so they're feeling good about themselves.
Maybe.
This is your chance to cook and turn it around. Because now people are like, Geno was the one that went pumpkin mode. We've been waiting for somebody to go pumpkin mode, and Geno, after a nice 3-year run?
Yeah.
I don't think you've gone pumpkin mode. I actually still believe in you to turn it around, but it's got to start this weekend. Like I said, Geno, I believe in you.
Oh, wow.
I do.
Excellent Bud list. That was tough love.
Yeah.
Tough love. I'm pulling for him.
I definitely like the Geno ad. That was a good ad.
Thank you.
I'm going to throw Jamar Chase up here.
Wow.
I know a lot of people like, what? He doesn't have his quarterback. And that's why I'm throwing him up here. Because Jamar, it's not really a knock on you. You've been as good as you have been, but we need you to be better. And not just better statistically, better in the building, better on the practice field, and more importantly, just better as a leader now. Like, you don't have Joe Burrow. Now, a few more months down the road, we'll see. But right now, you got a guy coming in, Joe Flacco, and you got a guy that is your counterpart in T. Higgins that has been playing below standard. You've been trying to hold up your end. We need you to be more vocal. We need you to do everything you possibly can as a player to solidify the fact now you earned it, you deserve it, and you are paid as one of the best players in the game. I want to see it show up. Regardless of record, I want to see continued effort, and you've been giving that. I want to see you get the best out of the guys that you're on the field with. That means any quarterback that's in there, you need to say and do whatever is necessary to elevate their game. You need to talk to your counterpart, T. Higgins, and say, my man, I need more. I need more out of you. Regardless if we're going to win these games, we can't be a reason why we are not having success, not only as a team, but isolated as an offensive unit, because we were depended upon to be special. Be that, despite what you don't have. Now, you've been putting up your numbers, and I want to show everybody your numbers because we need you to do a little bit of everything. You've been putting up the yards. We need more touchdowns. But even if you got to tackle, I need you to tackle.
5 tackles.
That's a lot of tackles.
We need you
Probably
to do
a career high.
everything that we possibly can have you do in Cincinnati if Who Dey Nation is going to stand up. You got a tall task in front of you this week, but it's nothing to a real one, right? So be a real one. Look to your left and your right, and that
I bet
under
he can
quarterback.
add a couple more tackles this week.
You might have to.
How many tackles do you have in your career?
Probably about 3, if that.
He had 3 last week.
Yeah, he did. At one point, he literally was leading the Bengals in tackles last week.
Like, I mean, it's been rough,
Yeah.
Jamar. But if there's anybody that can get through it, it's you.
Well, that's motivational too. It's 4:12 on the dot. We nailed it. It's time now, whether you like it or not, for the Sports Media Ombudsman.
All right, I think you're going to like it, and today
Even if I don't.
is one where the Sports Media Ombudsman would like to give some flowers.
Oh, good.
Wow.
So, I know it, and don't put the bar up yet if we could, but I want to talk about Ollie Connolly for a moment. So, if you guys are like, hey, where do I know that name? About 9 months ago, Ollie Connolly reported first, all the way from England, where he's based, Bill Belichick's going to be the head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels. And people were like, huh? Why does this guy have this story? But he had it. And by the way, shout out to him. He was on Sky Sports coverage of the NFL games from London. He has a great Substack called The Read Optional. He often goes on my favorite NFL podcast, NFL Daily with Greg Rosenthal. Ollie Connolly, for some reason or another, has the Belichick story more than anyone, which is why when yesterday he tweeted the following, and I'll read you some of his tweets. Per sources, Bill Belichick has discussed buyout options with North Carolina's hierarchy. Belichick has signaled a willingness to trigger his own $1 million buyout if he can find a soft landing with another team or in media. He went on to write, members of Belichick's coaching staff have already spoken to other schools that are expected to be in the CFB playoff about taking on roles during the postseason. From one coach, quote, "The Rats are leaving the ship." Again, that's from a coach on the staff. Some staffers believe a change will come within 2 weeks. Then he sent a few more tweets in the last one from one UNC defensive assistant. Wow. What we've done to these kids is bleeped up. Now, two things. One is shout out to me for reading that off the screen in front of me.
You don't know how small that was.
Good job by me there because I was really testing the old eyesight. But here's the point. Belichick's tenure at Carolina's over. You can put it on the bar now, which means Bill Belichick's coaching career's over.
Yes.
And this is going to be a real test in, can you actually go backwards in legacy? Because this has been such a farce and such an unmitigated disaster. If he is essentially quitting during year one, when it is young people, it is college, it's not the pros. I know they're paid, but when you have 70 students transfer to play for you, and we are in early October, and your own assistants are making international calls to Great Britain to be like, oh man, we're looking for jobs this season. That said, looking for landing spots during this postseason because you keep getting dog walked by every Power 5 school you face. What does that mean for Belichick, how he is remembered? And again, I am not someone that tries to do the revisionist history on Belichick, without Brady, because Belichick's first 3 Super Bowls, Tom Brady wasn't yet Tom Brady. I'm taking nothing away from what he accomplished from 01 to 20 in New England.
Yeah.
But this last half decade, Brou, has been covered in embarrassment, odd decisions, a very weird personal life that has become very public, and now one of the most disastrous tenures in the history of major college football that might be over before it started. And so I think it's done. I trust Ollie Connolly. If he's saying it, I believe him.
Yeah, because there were denied, both camps kind of came out and denied.
But it's over.
But yeah, I think this is a great I am one, and like you said, you can't take anything away from Belichick's legacy as far as, he's arguably the GOAT.
Yep.
But I am one that has pointed out, whether it was Cleveland, whether it was New England, whether it's this, UNC, he hasn't done really much winning at all without Tom Brady. And I get that Brady was not Brady in those first 3 Super Bowls, so Belichick gets a ton of credit for that. But that team did turn around as soon as Brady took the starting job. As soon as he just, for whatever reason, it was something about Brady that got them the win. But I would say when you said his legacy, I do think I have in the past said he's the GOAT. I think this puts, and I just said it, and arguably in front of there for sure. Now when you bring up an Andy Reid or some other coach, I think people won't just scoff at it like, what are you talking about? He's got 6 Super Bowls. But I look at Phil Jackson in New York, which was bad, him
but it wasn't
as president.
Embarrassing.
Think about that?
No, I'm just saying, my point is this. I'm saying that did not hinder Jackson's legacy at all. Jordan with the Wizards did not take away from his legacy.
Embarrassing.
I don't think this. I hear you, Nick, but I don't think. I think he should go in the media, and I think he'll be beloved. I don't think it'll ruin.
See, that's the thing, KW. I think this cements he will not get another chance to coach.
No, he won't.
Probably. I would say a media, if he wants to consult, but he can't consult. That's the problem. He wants to be the king.
Yeah.
If you want to be the king and run everything, I don't know if he has the bandwidth for it.
We say he should do media. He will need to do it differently than he did it last year. Last year, it seemed like he was just auditioning for jobs. And taking, the only time he was critical.
Really good.
I think he could be
He was critical about the Jets, the Patriots at times, but so I think he could be good at it, but it didn't seem to be his real goal. His goal was to get the job. I don't know.
I think he'd be good. First things first overtime, just saying. Still learning.
I think he'd be great.
Yeah, I think he'd be
good. But it's a bad finish.
Yeah.
I don't think this is going to be a bad finish, but it is an awkward fit. Giannis making the Bud list. Talked about how long he is for Milwaukee. Take a listen.
I've said this many times, like I want to be in a situation that I can win, and now I'm here. I believe in this team. It's definitely going to be hard. We're going to take it day by day, but I'm here. The moment that I step in on this court or in this facility and wear this jersey, the rest does not matter. I'm locked into whatever I have in front of me. Now, if in 6-7 months I change my mind, I think that's human too. You're allowed to make any decision you want.
Okay, so Brou, my question to you is this. Can that philosophy actually work in practice? Where I am 100% locked in here, day to day, focused on what's in front of me, the game in front of me, the play in front of me, who we have to play tomorrow maybe. I'm not looking long term. Or is there already cracks in the foundation that prevents you from playing at your best that will hasten means go faster?
Yes.
Yeah,
hasten your exit from Milwaukee?
I actually think with Giannis, it can work because people know first of all, he's going to give 110%. We know that. Practice, games, and people know his character. Like his teammates know his character, and they know, I don't think there's going to be any question about how hard he's playing. The problem with the Bucks, they're not going to be good enough.
Correct.
That's just all there is to it. And I think what you need to watch is the trade deadline. At some point, Mikal Bridges will become movable at some point for the Knicks during the season.
Yeah, but the Knicks don't have picks.
Right.
You'd have to be like three teams.
But if he's saying he just wants to go to, and I think from both standpoints, New York wants to see what they look like. Because right now, on paper, it's New York and Cleveland atop the East.
I can tell you, they look better with Giannis.
No, I hear
Regardless.
you. I do hear you. And I'm not, like Nick said, the picks are what kind of could stall stuff. But I'm saying if you're New York and you don't look quite as good as you thought you would, and if you're Milwaukee and it's just we're mediocre, that's when something could be done.
Feels a little, and again, I would never think this was a unique situation. When we knew that Durant wanted out in the Draymond conversation that they had, felt like that was finally.
Well, they still would have won that championship, but for Durant getting hurt.
True.
Yeah.
A fresh edition of Tiers. The hits keep coming. Next on First Things First. Oh, welcome back to a great power-packed edition of First Things First. Let me get you caught up to speed. Last night, after a long day of gardening, an elite committee of analysts, Mission Impossible enthusiasts, and card sharks fought and toiled while covered in soil to deliver the best segment in all of sports. It's an honor and a privilege to present a Thursday edition of Nick's Tiers.
Yeah, that gardening was a 2-day experience. In America, when folks tell you, man, I love what I do, I'd work if they didn't pay me. I've never believed that until I had 2 unexpected days off from work and I found out what that turns into around my house, which is we live in the middle of Manhattan, and I'm gardening for 2 days straight. I'm not a man built on manual labor, I'll tell you that much right now. I'm glad to get back to the Tiers. Committee came in, let's get to it. Happy news, no new eliminations.
Oh, good.
For the second, we can show you the eliminated tiers. It's the same as before because the rules facing elimination last week for the second time this year, and they avoided it, the Carolina Panthers. Both times when facing elimination, they've won. There is one team, however, facing elimination this week. It's the Raiders.
Wow. What a fall.
Man.
Makes me sad, but they're
supposed to make the
they're
playoffs.
1-4. They still could. But if they lose to the Titans, they're eliminated. Wow. They're 1-4. They're facing elimination. Fair is fair. Can you imagine how embarrassed you'd be if your team this year had lost to the Raiders? Yikes. Sorry, KW. All right. Terrible, but not hopeless. The Ravens. They're terrible, but they're not hopeless because Lamar will come back and you got to think the defense will improve. Oddly, that might be better than the next tier, which is not terrible, but hopeless. Panthers, Browns, Giants, Bengals, Cardinals. They're not terrible. They win a game, but they're hopeless.
Yep.
So it just is what it is. Again, I don't know what you'd rather be, terrible but not hopeless, or not terrible but hopeless, but it is where it is. Here for the quarterback, Texans, Falcons, Bears. And here, let me be clear on this. The Texans' defense has been great, and the Falcons have other really interesting players. And the Bears, I think, have a really solid overall roster. The reason they are called here for the quarterback is because what is intriguing about those teams is how good is that quarterback? How good will he be? For CJ, can he reclaim what he had? For Penix, his performances go from high to just awful seemingly week to week. And Caleb is one of the most fascinating figures in the league. And I think all three of those teams are about similar caliber. This is one of, Marshall, who names the tiers, he goes to this one quite a bit. Potentially frisky. I don't know what Marshall's into, but he sure likes the word frisky. Cowboys, Vikings, Steelers.
What are you implying?
I don't know. The Cowboys' offense is one that's scary. The Vikings, a weird 3-2. Like, they going to get better at quarterback when J.J. McCarthy comes in? I don't know, honestly.
I don't know.
And the Steelers, to your point, Brou, they're 3-1. Rodgers has good numbers. I don't really fully believe in any of these teams, but as Marshall put it, they're potentially frisky. Flashes of brilliance. Broncos, Chargers, who are kind of fighting for the same real estate this year, actually. When Bo Nix is on, the Broncos look really, really good because that defense every week performs. And the Chargers, when Herbert has some protection and they're mixing in some runs, it's like, well, it's a good defense. That's a great coach. The Quentin Johnson's having a breakout year. But the problem is for both of these teams, the flashes of brilliance are intermixed with some really disappointing play. Whether it be overthrows by Bo Nix or sacks taken by Herbert, like you feel like you can bottle, if you could bottle their best, they would be some of the best teams in the league. Don't do it enough. Huge week 6s. Washington and Seattle, who I think are almost identical in quality this season. For Washington, it's 1 versus 2, Jayden versus Caleb. Last year, that was the Hail Mary game that kind of flipped the two seasons. For Seattle, got to go all the way across the country and a little south to Jacksonville for a really tough matchup of two, I think it's fair to say, really solid football teams. The 4-1 Jags and the 3-2 Seahawks, but neither of which has, all three of those teams, 3 combined losses, they've been right there. Seattle in week 1 almost had it against San Francisco, obviously lost to Baker in the last second. The Jags one loss they should have won, in my opinion, against Cincinnati. So, huge week 6s. Are you for real? Patriots, Jags, Colts.
I'll take it.
And I think these teams are for real. I don't know it yet. For the Patriots, if we took a 5-minute clip of every team's worst 5 minutes of the year, the Patriots would be neck and neck with the Titans and the terrible, the eliminated teams. That's hard to divorce yourself from when thinking about them as a real playoff contender. But quarterback's playing really well. Vrabel's good. Their offseason defensive additions have been helpful. The Jags, maybe they can live on defensive scores and forcing turnovers all year long, and maybe Trevor will take the momentum from Monday night and play better in the second half of the year. And the Colts have just been really good all year long. I mean, it is what it is now. They have made their money by annihilating the worst teams in football. And then their 2 games against decent teams have come down to the wire. They won 1, they lost 1. So it's just a question, are you for real? Will come down to the wire. And that's when these 2 teams play each other, and that's for this division. The Rams and the Niners. All these games feel like they are nip and tuck, super close. And with respect to the Seahawks, I think this division is going to come down to week 18, and it's going to be these 2 teams. Can be great, haven't been yet. The Chiefs and the Packers. So neither of these teams' records deserve to be anywhere near the top of the tiers. The Chiefs, partially because of pedigree and partially because what we've seen from the offense post, obviously, tackle to turn the tide. And for the Packers, what we saw for them defensively the first 3 weeks of the year and what we've seen from J-Lo at various points, you feel like either of those teams can win the Super Bowl. Either of those teams can be great. Neither of those teams have been great teams yet. Excellent, weird teams. Eagles, Bills, Bucks. They're excellent teams. They're all weird for different reasons. The Eagles because they just can't play a normal football game. The Bills because they have one of the most physically gifted quarterbacks in the history of football, yet their best path to winning seems to be to ask him to do less, and when he does more, it doesn't work out. And the Bucks can only function down a score, late fourth quarter, let me turn it all on. And then atop the tiers for the first time this year, probably unbeatable, the Detroit Lions that had a one-game hangover and then have been blasting everybody. And I got to tell you, I don't know who in the world is going to beat them next, but whoever it does, that must be a special, really, really good football team. And so they are at the top. They're probably unbeatable. I imagine they'll just go the rest of the way. Certainly wouldn't lose this week. Greg, go ahead.
I'm going to focus on the Chiefs, and I'm going to move them down. And yes, you talked about who they played this week, and this isn't because I know there's kind of like you and every other team that you talk about. When I talk about the Chiefs, everybody thinks that I hate the Chiefs. No. I don't hate the Chiefs. I speak honestly. And the honest truth right now, a lot of it is the poke at Nick. But the Chiefs right now, as we stand, don't deserve to be this high on the tiers. Now, I am not saying that they will not be, and they will not even end up being one of the better teams in the league come the end of the season. But right now, both teams on that list, I love the name, can be great, haven't been yet. They both are undeserving, but I'm focusing on the Chiefs. When you look at the game,
you're not going to their practice Saturday.
Exactly. They can't get the motivation to talk. When you look at the game that they played against the Jacksonville Jaguars on Monday night, like, they did so many good things. They had so many good positive takeaways from that game, and yet things that we have not seen them do,
that's all true,
crept up to bite them. Yeah. We've not seen. I heard you on What's Right podcast.
Wow.
I listened to you on College. Yeah. Like, everything that you said, we've not seen them lose in this fashion. When they get a lead, they don't relinquish it. Yeah. They don't give it away. And we've seen this team do some odd things this year, and I just don't think that they're deserving to be this high on the list. Again, we know who Patrick Mahomes is. We know who Andy Reid is. We know who Spags is in that defense. Even Chris Jones with the lack of effort and whatnot. I don't think that's who they'll be moving forward. But for right now, we got to knock this team down. And when you talk about that 49ers team and that Rams team and even some of those teams on that Are You For Real bar, like, you got to knock them down.
So here's the thing. So what you're saying is you could see them being deserving of this at the end of the year, but not right now.
Correct.
And that's, by the way, to add to your point maybe, that's kind of what Vegas is telling us. And not to just appeal to Vegas, but Vegas has the Chiefs with the 4th best odds to win the Super Bowl and the 2nd best odds to win the AFC. Which is very funny because they have the 3rd best odds to win the AFC West, but the 2nd best odds to win the conference, because the feeling is once the playoffs start, they'll be a different team. But the other thing Vegas thinks is that the Chiefs are that good right now, as evidenced by the other thing on your screen. How many teams in the league would be 2.5-point favorites over the Lions this week?
Interesting.
Interesting. Honestly, I think only the Bills and the Eagles in their building. I think those are the only teams that right now this week would be favorites against the Lions.
Do you think that?
And I find that, in Vegas, it doesn't always give the Chiefs a ton of credit. They've been home dogs twice this year.
Yeah, that is telling.
That is, they think that this week that the Chiefs did turn a corner despite losing the game.
Is there, not to get too much into the gambling thing, because a lot of times we look at the odds as gospel to a certain extent. Is there, because the Chiefs are so popular, and then is there more money coming in? Like, people just believe in Mahomes kind of blindly?
Well, I mean, are they versus a super public team is what you're asking?
Yeah.
For the futures bets, maybe, and that the Vegas, by the way, that's been Like Vegas has been burned by the Chiefs a lot. You know what I mean? Because they keep making Super Bowls. On a week-to-week basis in the NFL, that doesn't really exist. Like there's not like the Duke-style, old-school inflation of people are just going to blindly bet Duke, which is why the Chiefs, again, they've been home dogs twice this season.
That's true.
And so I find that line telling. Now, part of that might be the Lions' cornerback injuries, but probably not that much of that. So
I'm going to move the Broncos up.
Wow.
And I think the Broncos can easily go on that "Are you for real" line. No question about they can go in there. And I think they're certainly, I mean, we're wondering that about the Broncos. Are you for real? And they look like they're for real because of that defense. But you can say with a lot of teams, you can even point to the Chiefs game against Jacksonville, and well, if this had happened, they'd be 3-2 instead of 2. But with the Broncos, that loss to Indianapolis, which obviously is a good team, that really was like, if they don't have that penalty on a 60-yard field goal,
the game's literally
then
over.
They win that.
Yes.
Yeah, they win that game. So they should at least be 4-1. The Chargers loss was still a very close game. And then, like I said, the defense, they're giving up 16 points a game, second in the league. They lead the league in sacks. They're top 5 in total defense, top 5 against the run, top 10 against the pass. Like, their defense is legit. And Bo Nix, I know he's been at times doesn't look good, then times he looks great. But take away that first game where he had the 2 interceptions, and over his last 4 games, he got 8 touchdowns and 2 picks.
It's just a lot of where I'll give Sean Payton credit, guys are getting open. He is the play is being run the way he thought it would.
Bo hasn't seen it.
Bo, or when he sees him, he's overthrowing him.
Yep.
And so there's that piece of it. The only I hear what you're saying. My only minor pushback would be football gods kind of made it even on the Broncos in that, yes, a kind of a ticky-tack call cost them the Colts game, and then there was an egregious pass interference that wasn't called that maybe helped them win the Eagles game. You know, and the Eagles would have had to then go execute. I understand, but I think 3-2, given how they played, is probably their fair record. But yeah, and they have a soft part of the schedule coming up. They have Jets, Giants next 2 weeks. They should get to 5-2.
What do you think about this for a slogan? The tie that turned the tide.
It's not terrible.
It's not bad, right?
Yeah.
Cowboys, starting to believe in the Cowboys and Dak a little bit. Look at the Packers, like, you know what? We can go toe-to-toe with the Packers. Yeah, our defense isn't great, but we can put up 40. Packers can put up 40, and we'll be right there. I felt like while the tie was bad for the Packers, it was actually a little bit of a momentum builder for the Cowboys. Dak this season, 3rd in yards, and like Greg talked about, 10th in touchdowns, completion percentage is 6, playing great without CeeDee Lamb. And then, Brou, your guy, and you said this before the season started, it may have been during prediction week, most rushing yards, Jonathan Taylor, James Cook, and
he looks really good.
Javonte, who you were always a fan of.
Always.
Privately. I'm just,
I loved him in
I'm
Denver.
trying to believe in the Cowboys a little bit more.
Hey, Wiles?
Yeah. What's that mean?
Oh, I did the reverse Jerry Jones.
Loved it.
That was good. He loved it. That was good.
Just loved
I
it.
thought of it while you were talking. I
think
stopped
anyone
listening to your
has the
analysis.
reference.
I know. People who got it, though, loved it.
Huge college football Saturday, starting big noon Saturday. Live from Champaign, coverage starts at 10, and it's Ohio State, Illinois at noon. OKW and the family going to be in Madison this weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Wisconsin, Iowa. Afternoon headlines, sponsored by Hilton Garden Inn.
Picked
Hilton.
a hell of a game.
It's for the state. It's homecoming weekend. What are we doing?
Giants, Eagles. It's
Yeah,
on the
Giants,
screen.
Eagles. Sorry, I forgot. Eagles, Giants tonight, 8:15. Saquon revenge game sequel. Is anyone giving New York a chance to upset Philadelphia?
I am not. I'm not giving them a chance.
No
At
chance.
all.
I
I mean, other than the, any given Sunday or Thursday, if you will, but no.
So usually when you guys do this, I jump on the opposite side and I say, absolutely, I'm giving them a chance. Oddly enough, this time, I'm doing the same thing. I'm actually giving them a chance.
You are giving him a chance.
I am going to give them a chance. And I thought about this when Brou was just saying the end of game of Sunday, when you have so many things that can go wrong, that has gone wrong as a team in the locker room, it's almost like you're playing with house money. And you understand.
Yeah, the Giants.
With the Giants. And when you have a team coming in that you feel like, look, they disrespected us the last time we played with a player that used to play here. He's struggling. They've been struggling as a team, both offensively and defensively to some regards. Like, we can beat this team without Malik Neighbors. Obviously, we know he's done. And with a young quarterback that we feel like if we rally around him and if we put together a game plan, our defense is good enough to stifle that offense. Our defense is good enough to definitely get after their quarterback and to disrupt what they're doing offensively. So with that, I'm giving the Giants a chance.
So this would be a, in my opinion, catastrophic loss for Philly.
Yeah.
Because it would then no longer be, well, listen, it's champagne problems. Yes, there's a little dysfunction or discomfort about how it's going, but they still always win. Losing to this Giants team right now, after, to your guys' point, last year, the one game they played that mattered against the Giants, they were deciding what records they wanted to or not want to break. And the other game they played was kind of a similar situation where it was week 18, and it's like, hey, Saquon, are we going for the single season record or not? Yeah. And now the Eagles are in a self-imposed bit of crisis because of how they've talked about their own issues and because of that, now public meeting, which the most interesting piece of that is why that meeting became public. Usually when something leaks, it's because someone's trying to damage, the person they're leaking. That doesn't make sense. Or it's because someone's trying to make themselves look good. I don't know who looks good in this, and I don't know, I don't know why that news came out. I also will add one last piece to it. When the Eagles had the supernatural funk, it was a loss to the Giants that cemented this team is in real trouble. And so I think Thursday night games are weird, but I don't think the Eagles are actually in crisis, and I think it would be a sign of crisis for them to lose this game.
So we're gonna transition right to your pick here.
I will go with the Eagles. I think Saquon's got to have a. If Saquon's still Saquon, he's got to.
He has to.
And by a monster, I just mean 100 yards. I don't mean what he did last year, but if he can't do it now, then he just can't do it right now. That sounded stupid, but if he can't do it this week, then he's not going to be able to do it this year.
Yep.
Like I said, I got the Eagles. Not the blowout, but the Eagles.
Yeah, I got the Eagles.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm definitely not. You got to win the games you're supposed to win.
I'm obviously taking the Eagles. I'm taking the Eagles in a blowout.
Oh, your heart is not in that one.
No. I'm trying. It's a little bit of like I'm trying to put it out there.
Speak it into existence. KW, you are. Well, this should have been the topic. You're very worried about your Eagles.
I want to see the difference between. I think it will show up in this game. There was some real get back and animosity in that game. For like, let's win this for Saquon. Let's run it up. Let's really beat a team. And now it feels everything's just kind of like we're the champs. It just doesn't feel like they feel like finesse fighters now, where it used to feel like.
You're worried about the Eagles.
But
it's
their
okay.
offensive line has just not been
I think
the
it's
same,
fair to
and
be
that's a
worried
big
about
part.
it.
Live from New York. It's a show that's not into indoor mini golf. We're not doing indoor mini golf as a
This side of the table's into indoor.
Indoor mini golf.
Any sort of golf. I got to tell you something.
No.
This will be relatable to America. No. Kevin Wildes is the guy at your office that's like, hey, this plan everyone has, it's a bad one. And then when you suggest alternatives, he's like, those suck too.
No,
and comes with no ideas of his own.
First of all,
and then skips the event.
I like bowling, and I've always been to it. But I'm not going to do indoor mini.
No, it all started by you saying we're not doing bowling this year.
No, I said, are we
and
doing
it's
bowling?
because I beat you last
guys almost
year.
came to fist.
Yeah, exactly. I still have your $100 taped to the office wall. That's correct.
And what he beat you 77 to 70.
I smoked Nick last year.
That is correct. And Wildes lost money, and now he's bitter.
And I'm just like, we should switch it up.
So we suggest we're not doing laser
Exactly.
tag.
We're not doing it mini golf inside.
Okay, I said a
paintball.
dinner.
Paintball.
Now,
I said a
again,
dinner.
That's competitive.
And you said no dinner. Would you do paintball?
I'll do paintball.
Yeah, of course.
You're such a fraud.
It's just hard
you
in
would
January.
100% skip it.
No, I'll do laser tag.
Okay, sold.
Great. Laser tag it is.
Glad we're accomplished.
Third hour, first thing first. Today, the one stat you need to hear before Lions Chiefs.
Right. Got my briefcase.
He's got his briefcase, and it's going to be a facet. This stat better deliver.
It's going
Because
to.
I'm selling the heck out of this segment.
Got 3 of them.
Meanwhile, what can Caleb prove with a win over Jayden Daniels? This is interesting, too. A lot of narrative storylines about this.
For sure.
But right now, no, bro, you don't like
No, yeah.
Eagles at Giants tonight. Jalen Hurts trying to get this offense to start cooking. So here he is talking about chefs. Take a listen.
It's like, having all the same ingredients, but having a different chef in the kitchen. I think that's kind of what it's been for us over the years. And, you can have the same ingredients and, somebody can make the same dish and it tastes different. And so ultimately, the whole objective collectively as a group is to go out there and find ways to win.
Delicious. Do you need to see a statement game from Philly?
Yeah, it would be nice, considering their opponent. But let's go with the chef analogy for just a second.
Okay.
I think other than his performance in the Super Bowls, the most impressive thing about Jalen Hurts is how many different chefs he's had throughout his career. This is my favorite Jalen Hurts stat. We can show it. He has had 12 different offensive coordinators in 10 years of big-time football, college and the pros. A different voice in his ear, at least one, every single year. That is crazy. Some of them great, some of them not so great, some of them become head coaches, some of them interim, whatever the case may be. But still, it is possible, it is on the board that they just got it wrong this time with Kevin Patullo. Like, that is on the board based on how they've played. It's early. I'm not suggesting that they're going to make a change after tonight, but a lot of people have gotten right playing the Giants. Obviously, Dak had a huge game. Javonte Williams had a huge game. Rashid Shaheed on the Saints had a massive game.
Tackle to turn the tide.
Omarion Hampton had a huge game.
Like,
if we come in tomorrow and the Eagles eked out a 17-14 win,
that's a disaster.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not a full-blown disaster as they lose, but right beneath it is a loss where the offense doesn't hum. Like a 38-35 loss might actually calm things more than a 10-7 win. Maybe I'm parsing that the Eagles' offense has no business being bad, and the Eagles' offense is bad. And that is, at this moment, inexplicable unless the explanation is what you said, which is they have bad OC. And Jalen is great behind the mic. He's so good behind the mic that at times I find him, it's a little bit like you're just walking through the home goods section of the different motivational quotes. But that, to me, was about as pointed as Jalen Hurts gets. Because if we're following that analogy, the chef is the OC. And I think what he's saying is, and the meal doesn't taste good anymore. It's we're all the same ingredients. And by the way, I don't think that's unfair.
No, it's not.
I think that I do think there are some limitations on a passing offense quarterbacked by Jalen. I don't think it's the most limitations. I just think I think there are some limitations to what he is most comfortable, routes he's throwing and things like that. But they absolutely need to, Brou, have a normal game where it's not, jarring that they either never pass or never run. And Saquon needs to get going. That's the thing that's not Patullo related, in my opinion, is Saquon hasn't been as effective. And I'll add one last thing. I thought Brian Daboll did a really smart piece of, I don't know what the word
mental
is.
warfare.
Yeah, mental warfare. When he said, he was like, paraphrasing, they've got a lot of great players. Everyone's going to want the ball. And then he added, but if you watch the film, A.J. Brown is open a lot. Like really stirring the pot on. I'd be frustrated if I were AJ too. So there's a lot of things that need to happen, but most notably is the offense just needs to look good because they have good personnel.
Yeah, they need a statement win. Because, and this, look, I'm going to point at Sirianni, who I think is a very good coach. I think we think he's much better. We have him much higher than Nick does because the dude is one. But Jayden, we know, is a good leader. And I think one of their major problems is a lack of leadership, and it has to be above Jayden. I'm not going to question the front office because they've obviously done a very good job there. But Sirianni has to, like, for a team that has been so good for so long under him, they always feel like they are this close from catastrophe. They really do. And I get that, like, we talked about it last week. What other teams have these sort of, we have seen great teams, the Cowboys of the 90s, have all types of problems off the field. And they overcome them because when they get together, get on the field, they win. And they all do their job. But how many teams, like, where it's just in the locker room, stuff is always coming out. You win, and there are problems. You know, they always feel like they're a bad game from catastrophe. And again, I'm not predicting another supernatural funk, but that year, when they were 10-1, they were beating good teams. They were, they were winning close.
The Chiefs,
the Chiefs, the Bills, the Dallas when they were good. Like, they were beating good teams, and every week it was just like, felt like they were inches from disaster. Yes, so that has to change, and maybe a big win here with a good offensive showing would do it.
Danny?
Well, with all the players, it should happen. Like, we can explain why the Bengals offense is bad. Their quarterback got hurt.
Yeah.
All the personnel is there. It makes no sense.
I want to see this storyline be a Saquon game. Like the other games were A.J. Brown games, Devontae games, Jalen games.
Yeah.
You know, we had a Jalen Carter storyline. This is the Saquon game. Last year, he had 176 yards and a touchdown, and he sat down and Sirianni was like, do you want to break the record? There was so much confidence and bravado with that team. And he's gone from 125 yards per game last year to 53. It's not like even you were a little bit skeptical on heavy usage, heavy yardage. You'll drop. I don't think you were expecting a 70%
I mean, right
drop.
now he's on pace for less than 900 yards. Yeah. No, I wasn't.
This is shocking.
This is shocking him, but it would have, let me add, I don't know if you agree. This is less shocking than if he were on pace for 1,700 for me. We have there is no, and I understand football changes and athletes change. I don't think the human body has changed enough over the last 50 years for 450 touches of tackle football not having an effect on you a few months later.
I guess so.
And every time, we always talk about the 2,000-yard rushers, but every rusher that had that type of workload except for, was it Earl Campbell, I think.
Yeah,
right.
But his career was
short, but he at least did it back-to-back years. But Earl is dealing with it, for the rest of his life. So I expected some type of drop. I'm not shocked by this. And if Saquon can't get off today, I think it would be foolish to assume he's going to get back to anything close to last year's Saquon again this season.
Why are you galaxy brain? Not conspiracy theory, just galaxy brain.
Almost everything you say is.
8 carries last week? 6 carries last week?
Oh, saving himself.
I think they have had the long view of, like, we're going to need Saquon in the playoffs.
Well, didn't they trade for Tank Bigsby, who I don't think has played? Like, they seemingly wanted to save him.
So galaxy brain that they blew a 2-touchdown lead.
They were like, you know what, we'll be over. This one backfired. But we really want that. Like, we're up big. Should we run the ball? Like, no, we've got that Thursday.
We got a Giants game coming up.
Bears Commanders. It's going to be a rematch of the famous Hail Mary game.
Danny was in my house for this and literally dropped to his knees. It's true.
That is 100% true.
Battle of, are we sure we drafted the right QB for Chicago? Danny, what's your thoughts on, or what's on the line for Caleb if he beats Jayden this week?
A ton. This is a massive game for Caleb, for Ben Johnson, for Tyreek Stevenson, the defensive back who was jawing with the crowd, and then his guy catches the Hail Mary there. But the main thing for the narrative for shows like this is the book had been written after last year. Well, Bears made a mistake. Jayden Daniels, maybe the best rookie season we've ever seen, goes on to the NFC Championship game, wins 9 one-score games. Man, he's clutch, he's a leader, he's dual threat, he's everything. Caleb Williams, not in terms of winning, not in terms of taking sacks, but since that Hail Mary game, he's been really good. And if you compare him to Jayden Daniels in touchdown-to-interception ratio, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, and Patrick Mahomes are the only guys better than Caleb. Last week, your guy Drake May had a bit of a coming out party in a national game that the whole country was watching. It's like, oh wow, is he going to do battle with Josh Allen for the next 10 years in the AFC East? Like, Caleb Williams can swing the narrative because people are going to be talking about stuff like that in front of a national audience on Monday night. He can start to make that a conversation again about the 2024 draft class.
I think what's interesting about that draft class is right now, I think it's the rare class that a year and a half in, I think there are 3 different guys that you would get at least 10% of the public say he's going to be the best. I think there are
Caleb and Drake.
Yes, and it's the first top 3 picks.
And Bo Nix had 29 touchdowns last year.
Yeah, but I don't think people. I don't think. Maybe this is my own bias. But you could argue Bo has been better than. In fact, statistically, Bo's been better than all of them up to this point of his career, except for Jayden. But I think that there is not a statistical argument that Drake May is better than Jayden Daniels. No. But there are certainly people that believe he's going to be the best of these 3 guys. I believe Caleb. Danny, I think, believes Caleb can still be the best of these guys, and Jayden has been the best. Most of these, there was no argument during year 2, C.J. Bryce, Anthony Richardson, who's it going to be? There wasn't argued during year 2, honestly, about Trevor's class. As disappointing as it was, I guess maybe Mac versus Trevor.
Mac
but
went to the playoffs.
But then Trevor went to the playoffs. I don't think there was much argument. Burrow was in a good class with Tua and Herbert, but I think by the end of year 2, certainly, Joe had been to a Super Bowl. It's usually pretty defined, the hierarchy, and right now, I think there are a lot of smart people who asked, rank these 3 guys who you'd want. I think we'd get a lot of different 1, 2, 3s. And I think if
Caleb would be 3rd, though.
I think
right now.
I think he would be. I think he would get more 3rds than anyone. But I also think if Caleb balls out Monday night and they win, and that. It'd be interesting. I think the recency bias of that might be a thing, but I think people would start being like, hey, look at these. You'd see a lot more graphics on other shows similar to that one. Like, hey, have we been too hard on Caleb Williams showing those numbers? Maybe contextless, but showing those numbers. I do think that would happen.
I agree with what you guys are saying and what you said. On national TV, this would be a huge jump. And just you're right. Drake got a huge jump from beating Buffalo on national TV to standalone game. This would be similar, but for Caleb, it would be interesting to see how he built off that because he's still last year he had some really good, strong games.
Yep.
He was on the roller coaster, and this year it's been somewhat similar. Obviously Dallas, great game. And then last week, after that, 2 weeks ago, he struggles, had a 73 passer rating, 59% completion, struggled in that game. So if he plays great, it'll help him in the moment, but he's got to follow it up and not stay on that inconsistent roller coaster. I
know this isn't the topic, but I just want to add it. I think this is a bigger Ben Johnson moment than Caleb.
I am fascinated, man. Early bye week for a team with a new coach and a team that's had a ton of pre-snap penalties and getting the play call in late and all that stuff. Do they come out and play a good game?
Well, also, you're talking more X's and O's than I am. I'm talking more almost kind of narratives. Tell me isn't this the team that got mad because he stood him up? That wanted to hire Ben Johnson?
He was on their list when they hired
He was on
Dan
their
Quinn.
list.
Oh.
He knew they had the 2nd pick of the draft. He knew everyone knew Caleb was going 1 and that he could have taken that job and coached Jayden if he loved him or Drake, whomever he loved. He turns that job down and then goes and jumps at the Bears job. So, like, and he's known, since he took the job, I'm getting the Commanders after a bye week. You know what I mean? Like, there is an element of what has Ben Johnson cooked up for this game that I find interesting.
Now it is time for a special Thursday edition of the only segment that has a large silver briefcase, and not one, but is there several or there's just one?
Thanks for watching. There are 3.
There are. I thought there was 3. I just didn't know if Troy would always come out.
No, there's only one brief. He's not asking how many stats. How many
I'm sorry.
briefcases?
Oh, yeah, I thought there was, yeah.
I apologize. That was unnecessarily harsh.
okay.
Yeah, there are 3 stats within one briefcase. I'm not.
Got you.
He's out here walking around with 3 briefcases like he's in the Diamond District. They're
I think this should be handcuffed to me.
Exactly.
All right, it's time now for Pack Stats. Here we go.
Thank you. I brought my stats to work today, and with great stats come great power and great responsibility. Give me my lights.
Wow.
Thank you. Stat number 1. Brou is very surprised. The first stat is 34, 4, and 13. That is the pace that Baker Mayfield is on for 34 passing touchdowns, 4 or fewer interceptions, and 13 wins. Meaning, Brou, your MVP ballot was correct. Baker Mayfield is on pace. If he hits those thresholds, it's only been done twice before by Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady.
And they
both
both
went on to win MVP.
So, go ahead.
No,
sorry.
Baker Mayfield on pace for the MVP.
I think Baker Mayfield right now is a great bet to win MVP. He was on my fake preseason. I actually did this on, it's now been mentioned 3 times on the show, on What's Right with Nick Wright, very popular podcast.
Oh, subscribe.
He was my second pick in the preseason. It was Mahomes then Baker. Because I think they can get the 1 seed. I think they can have crazy numbers. I would be absolutely gobsmacked if he finishes the year with 4 picks. I feel like at this moment he could have had 6 already.
Yeah.
Like he's gotten a little lucky with some of the dropped picks, but he makes up for it, more than makes up for it. But his numbers are, on, to your point, a historic pace, and I think he can win MVP with 34 touchdowns, 10 INTs, in a 13 wins.
Yeah, it
which
needs
I
to be
think
the
is
1 seed
likely.
for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, the 1 seed would be huge. There's so much football left to be played, and they have struggled. Like these comeback wins, most of them have been against bad teams. So why have they struggled? His numbers just got eye-popping after last week. Like before that, the numbers weren't great, but it was the comeback wins where he was clutch. So if he has to continue to play well throughout
This is
games,
a huge
not just
opportunity for him. Niners-Bucks is one of the biggest games of the weekend.
Yeah.
Oh,
both
KW's
teams.
got his upset alert already.
For both
picked.
teams. I'm just
Mac Jones.
Wow, yeah, you sure
He's
did.
already got
for
it.
both teams.
No, it is. It's a huge game for both teams.
If San Fran and Mac win this game,
Still
what
might
does
be
it mean
hard.
for your guy Purdy, bro?
that they're just gonna let him get healthy.
Take his time.
No, they just gonna take
his time.
your time and let him get healthy.
All right, next packed stat.
Give me the lights.
Wow.
That's right. Yeah, every time. The next stat, Brou might not like this one as much, is 163. That is the most points allowed ever through 5 games for a team to go on and reach the playoffs. Your 2021 Kansas City Chiefs actually accomplished that feat going back to 1970. The Ravens have allowed 177 points this year, suggesting their defense is so bad the season is over because no defense has ever been this bad and then gone on to make the playoffs, Brou.
No, well, first of all, I would say I bet none of those teams. Very few probably have given up more than that, to be honest, in history. But they didn't have Lamar Jackson or Derrick Henry. So I think offensively, they still can be great. And not just, you guys mock me because of the culture comment, but their culture, they are not going to be the worst defense in football.
Brou, the culture isn't what it once was.
That's
the
true,
culture
but
is decaying
it's not
around
going
us.
to be this bad, but
Well, their
it's
defense was
horrible
bad
right
last
now.
year, and
yeah,
then
and then it got
became-
going.
became
Became
great.
the
They
best
got to
defense.
do their bye week. It's going to be interesting to see if they make any changes.
Can I have a bonus stat for you?
Oh, please.
I got this courtesy of our pal Dan Lebitard, which he got courtesy of someone he saw on Twitter. The Ravens have already allowed 12 more points this year than they did all season when they won the Super Bowl in 2000. They allowed 165 that year. They've allowed 177 through 5 games.
That stat is so good you should send Levitard a complimentary first things first.
Briefcase?
Briefcase.
I said, give me another stat. I mean, I didn't really like it.
Okay, sorry.
You kind of wound in my stat.
Well, it's not. That's not instructive. That's not instructive to what's going to happen. It's just wow.
All right, pack stat number
guessing.
3 with the lights.
Yeah. Lights, camera, stats, please. Thank you.
Now I like that. So good.
You like lights, camera,
Camera
stats?
stats.
Yeah, I
is
do
another.
like
Oh, another
Stats.
name. Light camera
Changing it.
stats. We got it.
Changing it. 30.7, as in points per game that the Lions have scored, dating back to when they spoiled the banner drop at Arrowhead in the opener of 2023, the most for an offense in a 3-year span since the 2018 to 2020 Chiefs averaged 31 points per game. So, Nick, I'm sorry to say, when we keep talking about is the light show coming back, the light show is now in Detroit, my friend.
That's interesting.
It's the best 3-year stretch of an offense since the offense that you deemed the light show.
Well, first of all, I didn't deem it a light show. That's Brou's terminology.
My
He gets
apologies.
light show. Brou, Sports Illustrated didn't say this, but Brou was the first one to call it the light show. We all know that. Listen, they have the most explosive offense in the league, and they've had for the last few years, which is why they have all the banners. And it's why they're underdogs in Arrowhead this weekend. I mean, listen, they've done an amazing job building that roster. They have great players everywhere. I give them a ton of credit. I don't know. I feel like there is still some probably unfair Jared Goff bias against considering the Lions like an all-time
When
offense.
I had that graphic that they're number
Much of it fueled
1.
by you with the.
No, but the fact that they're certainly they're not thought of in the same headspace as the Tyreek, Mahomes,
they
Prime,
haven't won.
Kelsey.
Just because they haven't won.
Yeah.
They won
No,
15 games last year, scored 31 in the playoffs.
See,
and lost
I don't
'cause
think
their
it's
defense.
not just because they haven't won, because some of our favorite offenses ever also haven't won. The 98 Vikings with Moss and Carter and Randall, the 07 Pats, they didn't win at all during that run. I really think it's a Goff bias, which is people think he's good, but not the force behind one of the most prolific offenses ever.
He has the most passing touchdowns in the NFL the last 3 years.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I don't even think it's necessarily a
But
fair
he
bias.
isn't viewed as the.
He's not right. He's not viewed,
isn't.
and he's not
I'd be
viewed
worried
as
about
guy.
that. They've been so good. Ben Johnson.
You'd be worried on the Bears side of it.
Yeah, a little bit. It's like, hold on, this thing works without Ben Johnson, the genius?
They have not missed other than obviously
Green
the
Bay
first game. They haven't missed the beat.
But Ben Johnson. I feel like Ben
clever
Johnson's
stuff.
doing a good job though thus far in Chicago.
He's doing a very good job.
Very good. Might even be stronger than I would say.
that
But I
is
think he's
stronger.
doing fine. It's
Very
not
good,
like maybe they're both.
But if I was a Bears fan, I would feel better if the Lions
It had
defense
fallen off.
started.
100%.
Coming up next,
easy.
a fresh episode of Frenemies.
Frenemies.
Stay tuned.
Time now for the most surreal moment of my week. College friends talking sports on national TV. It's kind of unbelievable. We call it Frenemies. He's Nick. I'm Danny. And Bill Belichick. This story, man, there are reports of investigations into recruiting violations, which are underway. Ali Connolly, who broke the original story that Bill Belichick was going to North Carolina, he is reporting now that Belichick has discussed buyout options, saying per sources, Bill Belichick has discussed buyout options with North Carolina's hierarchy. Belichick has signaled a willingness to trigger his own $1 million buyout if he can find a soft landing with another team or media. He quotes defensive coaches. There's all sorts of reporting around this. It is a huge story. Do you think Belichick lasts the season?
Well, right now, no, because Ali Connolly, who I trust on this, and like you said, broke the original story, said he thinks this could be over within a couple weeks. He also says that he has talked to coaches on the North Carolina staff that are looking for jobs with teams that they expect to be in the college football playoff this year. So I think it's up in the air whether or not he lasts the season. I think it is guaranteed that he is not the head coach there next season, which to me means Bill Belichick's coaching career is over, which is unbelievable. Danny, we were discussing whether or not post-supernatural funk, the Eagles should fire Nick Sirianni to hire Bill Belichick. And by the way, they were discussing it. The owner talked with Howie Roseman about should we make, I think I have that right, should we go after Belichick? Then nobody hires him. He goes to North Carolina, and 5 games in, it seems like he's giving up. And that is surreal.
So I said on this network when this story first came out that I did not believe it. I thought I would never see him coaching college football. It felt beneath him.
When the original story that he was going to Carolina.
When the original story that he was going to Carolina came out. And it struck me as, and everything that's happened since has struck me as someone who took a job that he didn't really want to take. Because it's just, all of it feels petty. We can't tweet about Drake May. The Patriot scouts can't come here. I'm going to release a statement about what the Crafts said in some interview. Firing people and not really doing all of the little minutia that it takes to run a college football program. He doesn't seem to feel any shame in any of this or any embarrassment, which is an amazing trait for a performer or a stand-up comedian, but not for an all-time Mount Rushmore coach. So I don't think this is going to damage his legacy. I know you disagree on this. I think in 10 years, when you and I are doing this segment, we're going to say, who's the greatest coach of all time? He's going to be one of the first names mentioned.
Oh, I think it'll be one of the first names mentioned, but I think now, let me put it like this. I don't think in 50 years, this is a big part of his story. But in 5 years, it could be if all of a sudden Andy Reid has ticked off another Super Bowl or 2, has passed him in wins, and there is a debate about, who is the greatest coach ever? I think it is hard to go backwards in legacy, but I think we saw Russell Wilson did a little bit. If Russell Wilson had retired instead of going to the Broncos, I think he's held in higher regard. This has been mortifying for Belichick.
Do you think he is mortified by it?
I don't know the man. I would imagine probably not, but I don't know how relevant that is to the fact that he has failed in an epic, historic way. And to just be so out over your skis and to have this level of embarrassment surrounding your personal life as well and have it be that public it's really unlike anything that I can remember. And it is shocking to me that it has gone this badly this quickly.
The reason I find that just a little relevant is because it seems like a lot of this is fueled by ego. And they got a quote out Connolly from a current defensive assistant. What we've done to these kids is effed up. Just everyone is abandoning one of the greatest coaches of all time 5 games into this thing.
Well,
that is.
But the other thing Ali reported was his own coaches couldn't get a hold of him during the bye week.
Sounds like a guy who's doing a job he's not all in on.
Yeah, I guess. He's not. It's been a very long time since he wasn't good at something. And I think in New England, at the end, he blamed the not being good at it, be it on the Crafts, be it on Mac Jones or the court, whatever. There's no one to blame but him and his buddy Mike Lombardi.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the level of hubris from these guys. We're going to be the 33rd team, all of it. They're averaging 13 points a game against Power 5 opponents, can beat by more than 3 scores. It is crazy it could be over this quickly.
Yeah, just hang around, Bill, until you can get boat raced by Syracuse in a couple of weeks.
Please.
That would be a great moment for our football program. Breaking news into Frenemies. Shams Charania is reporting that LeBron James is going to be out 3 to 4 weeks with sciatica. Opening night coming up in just 12 days. Warriors at Lakers. You see it there. He is out for the start of the 2025-26 season.
Yeah, I'm only laughing because, the audience is just going to have to take my word for this. But this is such a guy who's in his early 40s, old guy type of injury. I asked my wife 2 days ago, I was like, what is your sciatica? Because I think I'm having pain in it. So I was like, is it your tailbone? Like, what is it? Like, lower back? I'm not sure.
Is LeBron a side sleeper? I want to know.
And so there's one of two ways to look at this. One is like, oh, okay, he's going to have an injury-riddled year, and this is disastrous for the Lakers. The glass quarter full that I will call half full way to look at it is the best case for the Lakers is LeBron only plays around 60 games anyway. And to have
but you want some of
miss
those
time
games
early.
to be, you want him to be like resting to rest, not resting to recover.
No, of course. And so I don't think, because they have Luka, I don't think this is a huge deal. And again, the other optimistic way to look at it is if there was any question about how Luka was going to become the focal point of the team, you now have the beginning of the season to get it done. But the guy's in year 23. He's turns 41 in December. Like, stuff like this, I think, is just going to happen.
Yeah, it is a middle-aged injury. I've had a lifetime of back issues, and I would just say, like, once you start having back issues, they don't tend to go away. And sciatica can go down your legs, whatever the case may be. But this is the type of thing that can be treated with surgery. It is the type of thing that can linger. So, like, hearing that LeBron James, who played 70 games last year and has all of those miles on him, now has this type of injury. Obviously, I'm not a doctor and I don't know the specifics of his diagnosis, but I'm just saying, like, the glass half empty one is we will also have, LeBron needed to have some maintenance on this 3 months from now.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I would imagine, yes. And LeBron is... I am there for the big moments. Like, LeBron has never not been available on Christmas. He's playing on every Christmas. Opening night is obviously one of those things. Also, LeBron is a guy who, right or wrong, cares might be the wrong word, is certainly very aware of the 65-game threshold for accolades.
Right, he played 70 last year.
Right, and wants all those accolades. Like, that's part of the legacy. So this is, if he's missing opening night, which this report is he is definitively missing opening night, it's a real thing. And obviously the Lakers' only path is LeBron and Luka are both excellent in the postseason, and Ayton, gets to who he could have been early in Phoenix. So this is not a good sign. It's better than any type of, in my opinion, like groin issue, hamstring, knee, those types of things I think are more likely to linger than just this. But it's not the news the Lakers wanted, and it also explains why he hasn't really been participating in the Lakers preseason. I couldn't figure out, like JJ said today, he's on his own timeline. So something was going on. We now know what it
was. It wasn't business related or something like that. It's clearly an injury. Maybe you get your Luka MVP bets in? Like, best shape of your life, Luka. I know he's already one of the favorites, so it's not like there's a ton of value. But this is a great opportunity for Luka to, like, hey, when LeBron comes back, we've got a winning record.
Also a great opportunity for Austin Reeves to bounce back from a really tough playoffs as a second option, which is where he's more comfortable.
A draw in Frenemies here?
Well, we agreed on everything. Sure, yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Steelers, huge game for the AFC North. We'll get into it coming up. Welcome back. We got Greg Jennings and Willie Colon out here, and we begin in Pittsburgh. Steelers got the Browns on Sunday, coming off 2 wins in a row for Willie's former team. Went into their bye last week. Aaron Rodgers was asked about keeping the momentum through the bye, and here's what the quarterback had to say.
There's no momentum carried over. It's just you're practicing like a good team or not. Good teams practice a certain way, a certain tempo, a certain focus. And, I felt that from the first day I got here for minicamp.
All right, Willie, this is your squad.
Yeah.
This is an AFC North game.
Yeah.
King of the division. If they win this game, you feeling comfortable, confident if they win?
So let's be clear. This game Sunday against the Browns is a pivotal one. If they lose to the Browns, I don't know if they survive the next 3 games after that because they have the Bengals, Packers, and Colts. You know what I'm saying? So now you're looking at this schedule right here. I mean, Sunday's a must-win in my eyes. And I think part of the anxiety I have is because I don't know what the Steelers do well right now. They're too inconsistent. You talk about they're not really dominant up front. They don't run the ball really well, especially with Jaylen Warren out of the lineup. Defensively, they're dealing with Jalen Ramsey dealing with a hamstring. T.J. Watt has not been the dragon like we're used to seeing. Overall, I look at this team and I'm saying, man, you know, Aaron Rodgers said no momentum. You need momentum to carry you into these games. And so if you're the Steelers right now, especially if you're a player, your mindset is stack and win, staying healthy, and go on stretches where the back five of the season for the Steelers is going to be tough. You may have to buy some time. You get what I'm saying? So Sunday is huge. It's a fork in the road.
Yeah, they're the kings of the AFC North. Nobody else wants it. Nobody else wants to claim it.
That's kind of where I was at. I was like, if the Steelers can't win this division with how it's broken, with Lamar's injury, with 7 starters out for Baltimore, with Joe Burrow being out, then what was the whole point of bringing in Aaron Rodgers?
Absolutely. When you look at this division, and we immediately on the onset from the start of the season, we were like, man, do they have the 3rd best quarterback or do they have the 4th best quarterback? Well, right now, you could argue they have the best quarterback right now playing.
Until Lamar gets back.
Until Lamar gets back because of injury. But you're going up against a Browns team who we understand who they are defensively. But if you do what you did kind of against the Vikings in that heavy blitz team, he got sacked on the first snap of the game, and after that, it was like get the ball out of his hands, get it into the hands of playmakers. If they're able to do those types of things, yes, they can have success in this game, and you would have to argue this is the team to beat in that division.
Yeah, but the reason why I'm not crowning them is because Lamar is going to come back. They will get healthy again, and Baltimore has enough when they're healthy to make a run.
Lamar was healthy for the first few weeks.
Yeah, but I understand that. But you're talking about their star guys getting healthy when everybody is getting weaker. You get what I mean? So they're capable of making a run. Flacco can be the difference maker for this Bengals team. So, yeah, I like where the Steelers are at. I don't want to discredit them. As a guy who follows them closely, I'm just not convinced them yet. You know what I mean? I'm not saying if I'm seeing the juggernaut they claim to be solely because they got 3 wins.
Danny, and I'm going to speak for you. I don't think either one of us are saying that they're juggernauts.
Definitely not a juggernaut.
In that division, with what we have seen thus far, and I don't believe that even with Lamar coming back, I do think obviously he makes a huge impact, and I do think that he makes that team a threat. How much? We don't know because of what they haven't looked like defensively. The Bengals, is Joe Flacco going to be the answer? Because defensively they have struggles, and even offensively they have even more holes to fill than just quarterback. They don't run the ball well. They don't protect well. And so when you look at this Steelers team, yes, we don't know who they truly are. Mm-hmm. But we definitely don't know who the other teams in that division is right now.
At the moment, they have the fewest questions because of the injuries to the other teams. The thing I would say, not to predict injuries, but 41-year-old man playing quarterback behind a questionable offensive line who's taken a lot of hits this year. Yeah. I'm not at all convinced that Aaron Rodgers is playing 17 games. And the Browns' defensive line.
If there's one thing that they can do.
They can get after the quarterback.
Right? So, every week that Aaron Rodgers is healthy and ready to play the next week is a win for the Steelers. And no team in the NFL has spent more money on defense than Pittsburgh. Yeah, so their defense needs to be great.
Right, and they haven't.
And they have not.
And they struggled to close out the game. They almost lost to the Vikings Sunday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I get where they at. But I just know what they've shown as of late. And I'm like, okay, let's see more. And this is why if you lose to the Browns, that knocks all of that off the table and we start at 0 again.
Oh, it would be a horrible loss if they lost the Browns. And I will say this to your point. I'm not writing anything in pen in this division after 6 weeks because I feel like what Pittsburgh has is pretty flimsy. With Aaron Rodgers, they're not going to be a juggernaut. They're not going to be a dominant football team at any point this season.
Well, like I said, but you also have the Packers and Colts. You beat those teams, then we can turn.
Yeah, schedule gets much, much tougher. We got a big one tonight in the NFC East. We'll see if anyone here is given the chance for the Giants to pull off the upset against Philly. We got a big game tonight. Oh, guys are looking sharp. Saquon Barkley.
Good look.
Walking it. Yeah, that is a good look. What's that in his ear? I don't know. Orange?
Headphones, man.
Orange? Okay. Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith, all business. Man, Jalen does a good job for Jumpman. He's always sporting. He looks I mean, I
It
guess
works.
yeah, it's a good logo, and he's getting paid to do it. That's probably why I put 2 and 2 together.
There you go.
So tonight, all the stories about the Eagles.
Wonder if he has to pay for that.
No, Greg, here's how a sponsorship works. They give it to you for free. A little behind the curtain here. Greg's never paid for anything in his life. 2 touchdowns in a Super Bowl.
true.
We'll get you. It's very true. If the Eagles come out of tonight with a win and a good offensive performance, put everything to rest, all the concerns?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Look, this is a team that I think they're going to figure it out as the season continues to progress. I think that regardless, this is one of those can't win type situations for
Nothing
this
to
team.
gain, everything to lose.
Nothing to gain, everything to lose. So I don't care what they do unless they lose.
That's a tough spot to be in the NFL, man. That's a tough spot to be in.
I agree. Listen, I think the Eagles lost Sunday against the Broncos left a bad taste in my mouth because you took the ball out of your best player's hand in the fourth quarter. Saquon Barkley only had 6 carries for 30 yards. He had 1 carry over the final 35 minutes, and you blew a 14-point lead, right? And so, to me, the win matters because if you're not dominant and you don't go back to playing bully ball and winning a situational football, there's a cause for concern. There's a cause for concern because your identity doesn't seem like there's a shaken identity here. You have to make the Giants tap. You can't just win by 3 or 7. Like this should be winning. You should win by 14 points. You should. But this defensive line and defense of the Giants should feel like, man, we outclassed. We've been outplayed. The bullies are back on the block. If you just screech out of this game and everything is okay, and yeah, you got the W, but you look like there's still questions. I'm gonna be worried about the Eagles.
Well, and to your point, and Wild said earlier, it's like I'd like this to be a Saquon game. It should be.
Right.
Like if Saquon has it, the Giants' defense has been bad. They're 26th in yards allowed overall, but it's been extra bad for their run defense. And I can just put up some names. They played a few games. Omarion Hampton, Javonte Williams. These are nice players, but they're not Saquon Barkley.
You're right.
And they have destroyed and gotten right and had best games of the season against the Giants' rush defense. So if Saquon doesn't ball out tonight, I think the storyline, obviously, if they have 0 passing yards and a half, that'll be the story. Or if A.J. Brown says something. But if Saquon can't go in tonight,
that's a problem.
That's the sound, the alarm. Oh, man, he might not get going at any point
And
this
enough
season.
with the antics, right? Like, sure, they threw the ball early Sunday against the Broncos, but I want to go back to seeing boring Eagles football and win. I want to go back to that.
See?
I don't want to see that light show. They're not the light show, Greg.
This is why I'm saying I don't care how they win. I just need them to not lose.
All right, well, so let's get on the record here.
I want them to win dominant. Like, just win.
Okay, so you guys both were correct on the Jags over the Chiefs. We have this fancy pick bar technology. Willie, Eagles or Giants?
Come on, Eagles.
Okay.
Fly, birds, fly.
Dumb question. There is such a thing.
I'm not going to say, come on, Eagles. I'm going to say Eagles. But
Why wouldn't you say, come on, Eagles? You think the Giants got a shot?
Yes, I do. I'm going to say Eagles. Beware.
I will say this, for
You
all
know, something else.
for all the concern that we have about the Eagles offense, the Giants offense is worse. We'll make it a clean sweep here. Eagles win the game tonight, and I expect them to look very good. We'll be talking about it tomorrow on First Things First. Thanks for hanging out.